Warning: the following episode discusses graphic content some audiences may find triggering. Content includes, but is not limited to, sexual assault, domestic violence, illegal drug use, and suicide. If you or anyone you know has been a victim or in need of help, please reach out to the appropriate parties or contact your local authorities. Please remember, I hear you, I stand by you, and you are loved. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's your host for Stories I Shouldn't Tell, Mish, and with me today, I have a very special guest. He's a local artist from Massachusetts that's heating up the scenes, recently featured on The Breakfast Club, and has new music out. Ladies and gentlemen, my cousin, Elion.
Hey, what's going on? So
What's
just
going on?
just a little heads up. It wasn't necessarily the Breakfast Club. It was at Power 1051 with DJ Scenario. I
Oh,
was
my bad,
able to
my
kind
bad.
of walk through that area and get like, a nice little nostalgic vibe, but maybe we'll be aiming for that this year. The
Okay, all right, I
Breakfast
put
Club.
it out there. So, Breakfast Club, this
Speaking into
2026.
existence. Let's do that. Let's do that. Speaking into existence.
That's right, man. How are you, cuz?
I'm good, man. I'm just taking it one day at a time, able to do what I love to do and provide, provide for the fam, take care of what I got to take care of. How about you?
Yeah. I'm good, man. I mean, I can't complain. Same thing, providing for the family. Got a new little family now, recently married. So, three dogs. Being a
Three
dog mom.
dogs?
Yeah, yo, son, we got three dogs.
Ooh, that's a lot of poop.
Yeah, yo, and the puppy, he's a big boy. I actually just took him to the vet. Right, he's 70 pounds. I thought he was gonna be more, but 70 pounds, and he's what 14, 15 months. He's a big boy.
What kind
His
of what
poop,
kind
his
of
poop's the biggest.
but what breed are they?
All right, so the puppy that I just told you about, he is well. He I shouldn't even say puppy anymore, right? Because he's about to be in a young adult. He is a border collie labradoodle mix. All right, and then our middle child, who he actually just had to get a knee surgery. He was born with luxating kneecaps or whatever, right? So
Uh,
he had to get that fixed. He's 4 years old, and that's our Yorkie. His name's Rooster. And
Yorkie.
then yeah, and then my baby that I got when I was a single mom, right before I met my wife, that's Omelet, and he's my little pitty mix. He's a Staffy Pit.
Oh, I love pits. Pits, yeah.
That's
That's
my
where it's at.
baby. Yeah, man,
Is that
that's
your
my baby.
personal favorite? You got a personal favorite out of the three?
They
I
they
love
say
all
that
my
you
babies
shouldn't,
equally. I love all my babies equally.
but there is that one. No, yeah, I would say that Omelet in my relationship, just because I don't know if it's because I got him as a rescue or if it's because I had him during that time period where I was by myself, adulting for the first time. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's a different bond. Just different, man. I love that dog.
I see me. I love dogs, but I haven't owned dogs for a big portion of my life. Maybe for a little bit as a kid, and then we ended up giving it away because we couldn't have one at the apartment where I was living at the time. But like as an adult, like more like I started to learn to appreciate cats a little more, only because they're so independent.
Yeah.
You put a little kitty litter and you don't gotta train it. It just knows to go over there and it does its thing. I'm like, okay, that's cool, that works. Something
Yeah.
simple.
No, yeah.
Um,
The thing that drives me crazy about cats though is they like to jump everywhere. On the furniture and shit. I can't be having that. Like
oh, that's true. You
on
got
the
to get the right type
counters.
of furniture. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
Can't be
They
having that.
you know what dogs? I've seen some pretty horrific videos on social media with dogs like tearing through like
Oh
pillows and
man.
and sofas, and, like, you
It
come home
happens.
and they literally chew through, like, an entire door, like, they ate the door. It's like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, it happens, man. I mean, thankfully, we haven't had any situation like that, but um, one of the like anxiety things that they do is, yeah, they like to chew. So, you know, you're gone for too long, they get anxious, and and you
So
come
you
home
must
and it's
so
what's
you
up?
kinda know the way that these dogs' psychology works too, huh?
In what sense?
Well, you kind of just brought up the idea that that's a habit thing that they do naturally, I guess, that when they get
Oh
anxious, they
yeah,
chew. Like us,
hmm,
we have different anxious
yeah,
habits, like whether we shake our leg, like we do one of these things with our knee, or we're constantly twiddling
bite
our
our nails.
thumbs, or playing with your, how like when you're thinking deep thought and you're playing with your
Yeah,
beard and you're just like,
hmm,
those types of things. But for dogs, I guess specifically, it's chewing.
yeah. That's where they get out. So from my understanding, because 2 out of 3 of my dogs are actually trained by a dog trainer, and from my
Oh
understanding,
snap!
yeah, so from my understanding, they express themselves with their mouths, right? So whether it's and there's not much that you can do with your mouth, right? As a dog, you're either going to bite, you're going to lick, you know what I'm saying? And so
Hmm.
a lot of the times it's like if they're anxious, yeah, it's going to come out in chewing, right? Because it's helping them, like you said, kind of get that energy out. Might not be in the best way if it's your furniture, but it's helping them, to have keep occupied, and then some of them like nervous lick, right? So you'll see sometimes that they'll have like a little bald spot or something from just licking so much, right? Because they're nervous. But then in the same way, how they're friendly and they come up to you and they kiss you, right? And they're licking you, right? They're showing affection. My one dog, he likes to cob, right? And that's like where he comes up to your hand and he just like nibbles your hand. He's not biting down. He's just using his front teeth and he's like, "Oh, I love you so much." He'll cob my nose too. He'll give me like little cute bites right here. Yeah,
See, I
man.
I do like dogs. I do like dogs, specifically pits, but I just feel like cats, they're a little bit easier to handle
For
for
sure.
a time, but it's except for that whole, scratching furniture and all of that. All animals could be a nightmare depending on the animal you're dealing with. You got to have a good, disciplined, nice,
Right.
pet in order to, you know, work it.
Yeah,
Where's
no,
my water
absolutely.
at? Hold on. I got mine somewhere around here.
Yeah, yeah. While you search for it, let's talk a little bit about, bro, you've been doing this music thing forever,
Mm,
man. I mean, I remember when you were a teenager and I was still a kid, and you would come, because at the time I think you were living in Florida, so sometimes you would come up and be with our side of the family for the holidays, and they would, your dad would always be like, "Yo, sing for the family." Like, so you've been entertaining us forever, you know what I'm saying? And
wow, that's
then
crazy that you say that.
yeah, man, of course. Like, so you've been entertaining us forever, and now, and you've always talked about, being a music artist. As far as I've known you, you've always been in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember even when YouTube was like just coming out, you had videos on YouTube that I used to show my friends. Just everything, you know what I'm saying? So talk to me a little bit about the journey, bro, because from where you started to where you're at now, and you're just gonna keep going. Like, I'm curious, man. How'd you get from there to there?
So it's funny because that whole Florida thing, I wasn't even pursuing artistry or anything. Like that was just me being in high school, doing choir, and I was teaching myself how to sing at that time. I was listening to a lot of R&B albums and just kind of like imitating what they would do in the songs. And as far as like writing my own stuff, I didn't get to that until I was in college, really. Like I was in my early 20s. And I didn't start making beats or recording until a little bit after that, and taking it serious. So I would say, as far as like being in a label and releasing music on that level with distributors and stuff like that, that didn't come into play until my mid-20s. So I was kind of late in the game. But yeah, I've always been like musically inclined. I was always singing um for either school or church or something like that. And people around me knew I had that talent before I knew I had that talent cuz
That
my
star power.
first thing my first thing was basketball. Like you'll ask Lawrence, you'll ask anybody who knows me to that extent where we were in high school or even younger than just, that age bracket where I was in my 18, 19, like we're talking like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, like around those times. That was like my thing was basketball, 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 basketball. So my aunt once she had to sit down with me. She was like, and my aunt is a tomboy. So she's like, she took custody of me because I had family issues or whatever with my mom's. So
Right,
she took
right.
custody. That's why I ended up moving to Florida. So in
Mm,
Florida, she's married to a a sergeant. Like he's in the army and stuff. Not at the time he was a major. He ended up becoming a colonel and then a lieutenant colonel, and then he
okay.
kind of like
Yeah.
he left after that. Like
He was on the
he
officer
retired.
side then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being there, bro, he was like, you gotta watch this, clean that, wake up early in the morning. Da, da, da. Like it was like drill sergeant status all at all times. So it really was a big difference from where I came. Like, cause living at my mom's, I was in the streets. I was just, I didn't care
Yeah.
about school. It was a whole different thing. So shout out to my aunt Titi Linda and Uncle Mike, because they definitely gave me a second lease on life. And so my aunt, she was very athletic, tomboyish growing up, but she super into basketball, sports, all of that. And she would tell me, she's shorter than me. I'm 5'5", she's like 5 flat. And she would tell me, "You're too short. You ain't gonna be in the NBA. You're too short. You're not gonna, you gotta be jumping higher than anybody in the whole state in order for you to get to that point. And even then it's gonna be tough."
Yeah.
And I kind of just I took what she said for what it was, and I kind of fell back from basketball. Like I still did college ball, and I was a starting point guard and whatnot, but it's not like I really, really pushed myself to try to make it to that next level. I ended up like pivoting and then kind of going towards music, you know, writing more. And I always had an affinity to literature. Like that's why it's important to read and write, kids. Learn how to read and write, because that's
Yeah.
how you're gonna be able to do everything in life. Read street signs, read everything, like books,
Read the
whatever.
menu at a
Like
place.
write songs, for real, for real. Stay in school, learn how to read and write.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm sure that people are going to appreciate that message. I got a question for you, or rather, can you talk a little bit about like your upbringing? Right, you said that you went to you got basically adopted by your aunt, right? And they would you say that they
Mm.
kind of set like the ground rules for you, and like did you take what you learned and applied it to your life now? Are you still that regimented, or is that just something that's like in the back of the closet now?
Um, I always take the most effective things and I put them to the forefront, like of my daily living. So, um, the idea of being cleanly, the idea of waking up early, um, what you decide to do today determines what happens to you tomorrow. I think these are all things that I apply on a regular basis, and is the reason why I'm still here.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of people that may live in the fast lane, and you could look at them and be like, "Oh snap, that guy's blazing." But just because they moving fast right now doesn't mean that same circumstance is gonna happen tomorrow. They could come to a dead halt tomorrow. You know, dead in a literal sense, dead in a figurative sense. And that's why you always got to be careful when you're in the fast lane. You gotta know when to swerve, know when to slow it down a little bit, pace yourself. Sometimes you got to take a step backwards to take two forward. You got to learn how to, you know, move accordingly, navigate through this thing we call life. Because we're on borrowed time.
Absolutely. Do you think that the determination that you have now is something that you like had naturally, or would you say that that was like ingrained in you, like the determination to succeed?
Wow. You know what's crazy is that I've been doing research on some of this kind of stuff that you're bringing up, where I think
Mm,
that somewhere I read where like the FBI's candidates, they look into their upbringing and stuff like that, and that
mhm.
their hardships in life are tied to their ambition levels and their drive. And I think that that might have a big part to do with why I am the way I am. I've always kind of grown up with a chip on my shoulder. Really didn't have many people to help me through tough times. Not that I've never had nobody to help me through tough times, but a lot of times where I really needed some people to help me out, I was just on my own and I had to figure it out. And I think that that's a big contributing factor to a person who's ambitious, a person who's gonna have that drive to be able to do something today that you don't feel like doing. Like
That's
there's
called
days where I wake up,
discipline.
I don't want to make yeah, there's days where I wake up, I don't want to make music, I don't want to perform, but guess what? I have to. There's days where I'm not in the mood to smile and shake people's hands and stuff like that, but guess what? I have to. So it's like you just gotta be. It's some. This is one thing I learned is that you gotta be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mm,
That's how,
it's
that's
very
how
true.
you win.
It's very true. I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly, man. For me, one of my favorite sayings, and I'm probably gonna butcher it, right? But it's when basically when motivation doesn't work, that's where discipline conquers. You know what I mean? Because you can have all the motivation in the world, but if you don't have that discipline, when that motivation runs
Mm,
out, you don't have anything to turn to. At least if you have
that's
discipline,
yeah.
when the motivation runs out, you got that discipline to back you up, and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I got to get my ass in the gym today because I'm disciplined and I owe myself that.
Oh
You know
man,
what
now
I'm
you
saying?
touching on a subject. Now you touching on a whole different subject. See, I'm talking about drive and motivation towards aspirations and goals. I know
Well,
that physicality is also an aspiration and a goal. I get that, and that's something that I did have at one point. But there's only so much
I'm
time in a
just using
day.
that as
You
an
know what I'm saying?
example. That was just an
Yeah, yeah,
example, but
yeah.
like for me, like
Of
that's
course,
how you know what I'm saying. Like
course.
you could apply it to anything though. Like you're saying, it's work,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like I ain't motivated to go to work. I could call out sick, but you know what? Discipline. I gotta be at work, right? Because I got a family that I gotta take care of. Same
100%,
same kind
100%.
of thing.
So
For me. Yeah.
are you actually hitting the gym?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm in the gym. Yeah, yeah. I'm back in the gym.
How
It took
like
a little bit.
what's your regimen like? Like how often how many days a week?
So I actually just started this new regiment last week. I've been doing CrossFit. Like I shouldn't even say I've been doing CrossFit because really just been doing like the barbell classes. But I started
Gotcha.
that just before the new year, and then with my mom getting sick, I missed some time. Then I was back for a little bit. Then my I got injured. Like my elbow flared up. I have some tendonitis going on in there,
Oh
and
shit,
so
how'd you
that
get
put
that?
yeah, man, I that's a whole other that's just
Shit.
yeah,
I
that's a
got
whole
you.
other thing, man.
We'll talk about
But
that
if
another time.
yeah, yeah, man, but it flared up or whatever, so that put me out for a bit. And then finally it's starting to like be in a good place where cuz before like if you would touch it, like I just wanted to scream and cry cuz that shit was so tender, but it's in a good
Oh
place
wow.
now. So last week what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get to CrossFit and actually do like the CrossFit and also like a mix of barbell. I'm gonna do that three
Mm.
times a week, and then go to my other gym because I was going to like a regular gym. So I'm gonna be doing that like 2 3 times a week. So I'm trying to at least 5 6 times a week get to the gym because that's what I used to do, man. I used to be in the gym 5 days a week. So I wanna get back to that.
See, I was like not Well, actually, yeah, 5 days. I would do 5 days a week too, and I was actually seeing results. When you see results, that's when you start going extra hard. Like, yeah, nah, I'm in here. I'm in there.
That
You know what I'm
extra
saying?
drive.
But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's like you don't get that boost until you start seeing slight little changes.
It's like you like that instant satisfaction. That's why, you know what I mean? So something takes time. You're like, damn, like when am I gonna notice it? And then when you finally notice it, you're like, yeah, this is working, you know? So
Let's
I feel
go.
that. Yeah.
Damn, I need to do that. I need to get back in there.
You're not working out now?
Nah, I fell back like about 2 months ago. I was doing it for a good portion of time because where I'm staying at, we got amenities. We got a rec center, we got a pool, we got a fitness center and all of that. So I was taking advantage and I was just, hitting the gym like every day,
Yeah,
running
yeah.
into people, females, guys, just doing their thing. And it's crazy because this area is full of like a lot of college students and stuff. So,
Okay.
like, I see them putting in work, and I'm like, "Damn, son, I'm not going that hard, but I'll get there someday. I'll get there."
You don't ball no more, man? I mean, because even just doing that right there, that's good
So
exercise.
so what ended up happening with me is I ended up getting I broke my wrist at the age of 16, something nasty. So this from like right here, it went backwards.
Oh,
So I
shit.
had to like pop it back in place. And in doing that, I needed a cast for like whatever it was, 9 months. And fast forward to today, that same fracture that took place developed. It became osteoarthritis. So
Yeah.
now it's like degenerative. So like there's nothing I can do. The more I use it, the more messed up it gets. So I have
Mhm.
to be real careful with how much I use it. With that being said, right now I'm trying to change up my eating habits and just taking some more calcium, more proteins and stuff like that to see if I can strengthen the area around my that particular fracture and still be able to work out, move. I can dribble a ball, pass it, but I can't play like a full 5-on-5, you know what I'm saying? I could
Right.
shoot a few times here and there. Once they get to like try to steal the ball or something like that, it'll tweak it in one way, shape, or form, and I'm out. You know what I'm
Damn,
saying?
man.
So I don't want to. It's more along the fears of flaring up something that causes me to fall back from balling up. So that's why I'm just kind of hitting the gym, swimming, and doing other types of activities to stay up.
All right, man. Does it ever like affect you in performing? Because I know you're performing live. You got a lot of performances all the time, man.
What's crazy is that part of my set, I used to do some b-boy type stuff, right? Like get on the ground, floor rock a little bit or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
and depending on the song, right? But um, like ever since that happened, I kind of stopped doing that because I don't want to do
Mm,
something wrong, put too much weight on it and tweak it in one way, shape. So I'm avoiding as much as I can until I develop the strength because I'm also going through that therapy of just doing certain weights to strengthen the muscle and stuff
do
like that.
resistant bands, man.
Yep,
That'll get
I
you
got
right.
some resistant band. Yep, I got some resistance bands too. So I'm doing that plus the weights and just trying to keep it, steady enough to be able to continue and do those things. You know, it's not
That's what's
easy
up, man.
though, because it's more up here than it is here.
Yeah.
You're more afraid of tweaking it than you are of actually tweaking it, of it actually happening.
So let's talk about that a little bit. What do you think up here? Like, what stops you? You know, are you scared that, oh man, I'm gonna injure it too much that I won't be able to do what I want to keep doing? Like, it's gonna put me out from music. It's gonna put me out like being
Well,
a
so
father. I
so
can't hold my kid. Like, what you know, like what's the fear?
so it's a little bit of all the above. Um, right now I'm also like I have a guitar and I'm trying to learn it. So I can't play it, too crazy without it,
Mm,
starting to flare up. So I have to be very limited on that. Holding my kid is 5 years old now. He still be wanting me to pick him up, but I'm like, Bubba, you too big for that. Because he's getting big. I don't know if you've seen pic, but this kid is getting big. He's next to other kids his age. He towers over them. I'm
That's
thinking to
crazy.
myself, like, was I that tall? I don't remember if I was that tall.
And then you just stop growing because yo, we short as hell in our
That's what I'm saying. But the thing
family.
is, I don't know if you know this, but my dad's dad, my grandfather
Hmm.
from Ecuador, six
He was
feet.
tall as hell.
You see, that's everybody keeps saying this, and I'm like, bro, that must be a legend of the family because
Our great
no one I
grandmother was the short one.
she was the yes,
Yeah.
Coradia. She was
Yep.
tiny, right? So we do have height in our DNA somewhere, and I know that they skip generations, so it's in there somewhere, right? That's one. But Lali's family, her brothers, and it's crazy because her mother and her father are both short, but all her brothers are 6 foot tall and taller. So there is tallness on both sides of the family, but they've already skipped generations. So
Got
he
you.
might be that generation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And the
yeah.
doc keeps telling us like he's gonna be tall. He's gonna be like he's a big kid. He's gonna be tall. I'm like, don't gas me, bro. I'm just thinking to myself like a s- a 6 foot version of me, and I'm getting hyped over it. I'm like, bro, I'm excited. I want to see this.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do
He's a
you,
chip off the old block. So
yo, I was gonna say, do you see a lot of you in him now? Like, does he have any artistic or nah?
listen,
Oh, he's the ladies'
it's
man. That's what he is. He got that from you, huh?
well, I won't listen. We're gonna have to bleep that one out because Lolly gonna be like, "Oh, you see, like yo, oh, listen.
That's the family.
Oh man,
Listen, that's the family gene, alright? That's the family
is
gene.
it?
We're just
Oh no,
charming. We're
oh
just
no, you're
charming,
not
baby.
helping, Michi. You're not helping. You're not
Listen,
helping.
I'm not saying that you step out. I'm just saying that we're charming. We can't help that.
That's true. We are charming. That is
We're
a
charming.
fact. That's a
And my
fact.
wife be getting
But
pissed off
so
too.
I believe it. I believe it. Shit, I definitely believe it.
Nah, I
What
used to
was I
be
gonna
worse,
say?
man. I had to tone that shit
Yeah.
down for real. Hell yeah. What? I had to tone that shit down all the way. I'm on mute now.
Hey, at least you're able to. I know people that don't have that flip switch. They
That's
can't
called
flip it.
discipline.
Got to learn that somewhere. You got to pick that up somewhere.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's funny.
No, but as far as like me seeing my son and looking at him, like I mean, if you look at our baby pictures, there are people that'll you hand it to them and they'll be like, "Oh, it's the same kid." They think it's literally the same kid. It's
Wow.
like, oh shit. Ask Pete. Pete will tell you. He's like, bro, he came in, he met him and everything for the first time not too long ago. He was like, bro,
That's
that's
crazy.
you. He's like,
You know, my
that's
mom
you
got
all the way, son.
that's crazy.
He's
My mom's got a
hyperactive,
picture
running
of
up and
you.
down the walls, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Just
But you
all
were
over the
like that too,
place. And
no?
then, huh?
You were like that too, like super active as a baby.
I was super hyperactive. Yeah. That's
I don't
why
know
I got broken bones and all kinds of shit because I
if
never knew how to sit still.
I don't
You
know
know,
if you
I was always
remember.
getting banged up.
My bad. I don't know if you remember, but my mom, at a point, I guess she used to babysit you because she told me because she has a baby picture of you. And I'm like, what? Why do you have this picture of Anthony, right? And she's like, I used to take care of him. He was like my first son. You know? She's like, I used to babysit him. I was like, what? Really? She was like, yeah. When your mom and your dad would go out on dates or whatever, like I guess you were left with my mom. And my mom was like, yo, that boy was
Oh.
crazy. Yeah. That boy was
See, I
crawling
need
all
to
over.
learn about this. I need to
Yeah.
learn about this. This I didn't know. Because she's probably talking like before I even turned two. I must have been at most like 1.5. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
baby, man. Yeah. Baby.
because my mom ended up separating from my dad when I was like I wasn't even two, and that's when I moved out to Massachusetts, and that's you
Yeah,
know,
it could be.
so
Yeah.
her for her to have taken care of me, like that was before I could even remember anything. you know?
Yeah, man, for sure,
Like,
yo.
so
Because I
I'm
was like,
curious.
why
That's
you
why
got
I'm curious.
this?
I'm curious to know. Like, I wonder what kind of story she got,
Oh
because it'll
yeah,
give me
yeah,
some
right. We
insight
should
on
have
my
her on.
son. Because I'm looking at my son and like, bro, he's a little daredevil, bro. Like for his height, he'd be like trying to jump off of stairs like 10 steps high. He'd be like, "You think I could do it?" I'll be like, "You better not." He'd be like, I'll be like, "Yo, bro."
He got a little parkour in him.
Well, at the age of like 2, this little one was playing with a little bicycle, tricycle thing, pushing it to the limit, trying to go as fast as he could. I kept telling him, slow down, you're gonna hurt yourself, you're gonna fall and hurt something. I guess his shoelace caught the pedal or something like that. Boom, he goes flying forward, busts his lip. Now he's got a scar on his lip, like right here. Now it's nothing crazy. It's a tiny little cut. It builds character. You know what I mean? It shows a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
of that rambunctiousness in him. You know what I mean? Like he looked like a
Absolutely.
little wild boy. But I'm like, bro, see, that's the reason. That's why I told you to stop. And he don't learn. He's like his daddy, bro. He don't learn. He gonna keep running around, jumping around. Can't stop that, man. He can't.
Does he ball? Does he sing? What does he do?
Well, so the singing he doesn't do, but the balling he does for sure. Every time I come home, let's play basketball. And we got a little, the little the hoop that you put on the door
On the door,
with the
yeah, yeah.
little fur ball one, the little fur ball, the little it's like a little rubber one, but it's also inflatable, so you could dribble it. And I'll be doing pass drills, bounce pass drills. I'll be bounce passing it, shoot it, and he'll shoot it from a little bit deep, and just keep practicing. He's work, and he'll shoot it with the form, like he'll go like this, and I'll be
Oh,
like,
that's
all
awesome.
right, work it, work it. And
Who's
I've
his
taken
team?
videos of him, huh?
Who's his team?
So he doesn't know about teams like that. He
Okay,
watches on
yeah.
social media or YouTube or whatever, and he'll see like certain players. He does the John Morant dance. You know the dance that he does when he shoots.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, yeah, he be doing all of that stuff. But I'm like, where'd you get that? Fortnite? I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
But
But
yeah,
who's your team? You grew up
wow. So I was always a fan of the Celtics.
oh God.
I was.
My heart.
Listen,
My
I would
fucking heart, cuz.
hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. The reason why it's just I got disillusioned with the Knicks, man. How you This is what I don't understand. I
Knicks
You
tape,
go to
baby,
New
all
York.
the way.
Look. You go to New York, right? You go to any fucking basketball court in the streets of New York, and you gonna find you an A1 basketball player, like someone that is top tier that will murk any take them to Rucker Park, they'll hold their own everything. And you mean to tell me we got a shitty ass state team like the Knicks, bro? Come on, like you can't be serious. Yo, at this point, we just need to get rid of the whole team. Just go to Rucker Park and hold the tryouts there, and be like, "Yo, we're gonna get the first 10." I guarantee you, bro, nobody's touching New York Knicks, bro. I promise. I promise. Just take what I'm saying. Just listen to what I'm trying to tell you.
Yo, son, we've
But
been
that's
bad. Go ahead, my bad. What's up, story seekers? If you haven't already heard the news about Amino Asylum, the company I used to promote for peptides, they actually closed their doors. Don't worry, I've been hard at work behind the scenes and I found a new company with great products. I've partnered up with BioLongevity Labs to give this story circle access to premium quality peptides, capsules, and more. BioLongevity Labs formulates and produces all of their products here in the US. Currently, I'm using both their Shred product and their Glow Blend. Glow Blend is a blend of BPC 157, TB 500, and GHKQ. Uh, and I'm using the Shred in capsule form, which is peptide SLUPP332. If you're not familiar with it, it mimics exercising and helps shred weight as well as build muscle by improving mitochondrial health. Please note the supplement should not replace exercise and should only be used in supplement of exercise. And as I mentioned, the Glow Blend I'm using helps me stay in the gym by reducing inflammation, accelerating healing, and promoting skin health. Not sure what peptides would work for you? Check out the BioLongevity Labs website and read different articles available to you, or ask one of our professionals who are available to help you on your biohack journey. Be sure to use code STORIES at checkout to save yourself some money. That's STORIES. As always, this is not medical advice, and you should always refer to a medical professional before starting any supplement. You must be an adult to access this website. Hello, story seekers. If you follow me on TikTok, I got some bold, skull crushing news for you. I've recently partnered up with Fire Department Coffee, who have been kind enough to give my followers a great discount for some delicious coffee. I've been using their instant espresso coffee, and let me tell you, nothing beats making a quick cup of coffee. Instant coffee that is both rich and tasty, giving you a nice full body flavor with every cup. Fire Department Coffee is veteran owned, and proceeds help support sick and injured firefighters. So you get to enjoy your caffeine and help firefighters. Two birds with one stone. Check out my TikTok shop at Mish Caroline and order yourself some Fire Department coffee to be one of the good ones who enjoy good coffee and supports a good cause. Stay caffeinated, story seekers.
I mean, it's the thing is, I get it, and I have a jersey. I have the Knicks jersey and everything,
Yeah.
and they made it to the playoffs, and I was pushing. I was like, "Let's go." You know it's bad when you have hardcore fans of other teams that look at you with pity, and they're like, "You know what? I hope your team takes it." Like, fuck you, bro. Like, where's that competitiveness? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We don't even get the decency of getting competitiveness for the Knicks, bro, because the Knicks aren't a competition to anybody, bro. So it's like it's bad, bro. It's bad. It's bad. Now I know you probably fucking with the Nets now that they moved over to the Jersey
Nah, not
side, right?
even, man. Nah, not at all. I
No?
was Knicks till I die, man. Like, yeah,
Okay.
I
Okay.
wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't even a Nets fan. Being from New Jersey, right? You would have thought I'd be a Nets fan, but nah, I was never a Nets fan. And then when they went to
Never.
Brooklyn, you would think that I would have. Nah, I didn't jump ship. Stayed with the Knicks,
No, not
man. Yeah,
all right, all right,
I
all
wasn't
right.
moved.
Well, yeah, the Knicks. I see the thing is, yeah, they had a few players throughout the years that kind of,
And that's what I
moved the
was gonna
needle
say.
slightly,
Mm-hmm.
but it was,
Linsanity. And
that's
even
what I'm
Carmelo,
saying. It's
man.
just like they
Like,
fizzle out, bro. They're here today, gone tomorrow, and with these other legacy teams, you don't see that. You don't really see that. You see teams that really stick it through. You know what I'm saying? And it's just
and
like,
they're hot for years, man. Like you
yeah,
said,
that's
we
that's
fizzled
why they
out,
become a
man.
legacy team. That's how they
Yeah.
become because they in the game for a few years, making it constantly to the playoffs.
I remember when the
Like
Spurs were constantly in the finals, man. The
listen,
Spurs.
the
Like,
Spurs, the Pistons was doing it.
yeah,
Like
Houston was doing
there
it for a
was some
bit.
there was some
Washington.
teams that held their own for a little while, and it was like, oh shit, like when LeBron was running with the Cavs in his
Oh yeah, of course.
sophomore and junior year in the league, like like he was killing it, and then he changed the game with him trying to chase his rings. He literally changed the game because back then people were like, "No, this is my team. I'm sticking with it." And he
Yeah,
changed
role
that whole
players.
dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would only trade if you weren't really worth it. You wouldn't trade if your star player was like, "I hate my team." Like, you know what I mean? It's different. It was different. The game was different. Even when you played it on the video game console, there were limitations when they let you trade your you know what I'm saying? Your
That's
cat
great.
your team, you know what I'm saying? So now it's just you change the game. But listen, this day and age, you ain't touching Curry. You ain't touching Ja. You ain't touching um oh my god. Oh my god, what's his
Don't even
name?
ask me because I don't follow the NBA like that, man. I'm
Oh
so
my
out of the
god.
loop. I was just
Oh my
happy that they made it to the
Kevin
to the
Durant.
postseason.
Kevin Durant.
Oh, Durant.
He- yeah, yeah. Durant,
Durant
Curry,
was
right?
nice, man.
Durant, Curry, Ja, and you need a big man in there, a nice power forward type. So we'll put LeBron in there. But I really hate his game. I really hate his game, bro.
Really?
I hate his game. I hate his game because he, he should just stick to acting. If he gonna be flopping the way he be flopping during playoff games, I think he should just transition to just do movies and just be an
Or
actor.
play
You know what I'm
soccer.
saying?
Cause
Like,
soccer be flopping hard, baby.
oh, see, that's another thing. Yeah, but see, the thing is though, with soccer, flopping has always been a thing. Like
Oh
basketball
yeah.
really adopted that level of flopping recently, and it's not normal for that sport. It's just
Yeah, you're not
you
getting
look
hit
at
that
certain shit
hard.
and you're just like, really, bro? Like, come on, son.
You ain't getting
But
ran like that, you know?
and then you see the comparison videos between LeBron and Jordan and how he would take it to the basket. They would cover his eyes, hold his arms down. He'd be like, with the tongue out, give me it. And then you got like LeBron, like avoiding all
Crying.
human contact and like throwing himself, like somebody sneeze on him and he's like, and he falls back. Like, bro, like, I'm just not a fan of that, man. I'm not a fan. He does have his moments where he could shine, and I guess you gotta be careful, you know what I'm saying, when playing the game because people are out to injure you, and I understand that. They're gonna be out to injure you, get you out the game.
Mhm.
People play dirty. It is what it is. I understand, you know.
Is that what happened
But
to
that's
you
just
when you got your hand snapped back?
you're not gonna believe me if I told you this, but I was training on jumping higher. This was at the time where I wanted to be an NBA basketball player.
Mm.
So I was training myself. This was before all the shit you see today with the new training mechanisms that they have for jumping higher and all of that. That didn't exist back then. You went to Dick's Sporting Goods or Sports Authority. You bought yourself
Sports
those ankle
Authority,
weights.
bro. You just blew my
Yo, you
mind.
would
I
go
haven't
back.
heard that. But yo, what?
Yo,
Like 20 years now.
back
That
then.
shit.
For real. Exactly. You would go back there, get yourself some ankle weights, Velcro
Mm-hmm.
them to your ankles, tie 'em around your ankles, go for a jog, practice your jump, your long jump, your high jump, and just keep doing that. Play a few games of basketball wearing them weights. Like that was the way it was. That's how you was training. So that's what I was doing. And then not only that, but then taking them off, um, resting, recuperating, regenerating, and then retrying my jump and seeing how high and measuring it. And at one point, I got to the point where not with the ball in my hand, because the ball in my hand would be a little bit of extra weight, so I couldn't jump as high. But
Mm.
without the ball in my hand, I could jump and put my fingers on the rim like this. Okay. At 16, I was doing this. I was like 5'4", 5'3", if that. But I was able to jump mad high, put my fingers on the rim like this, and so I did that right once, and because I grabbed on a little bit tighter than I really thought I should have, I ended
Mm.
up like swinging, doing like a slight swing, and I was falling like flat on my back, and I swung my arm around and I landed wrong on my arm, and that's how I broke my wrist.
Damn.
So it was crazy, and it was from that moment that I was like, yeah, I don't think basketball is gonna do it for me,
You're
man.
like, fuck this vertical shit.
Nah, but it got to a point where I could have, if I would have kept going, I probably could have ended up dunking at some point. But it was crazy. It was crazy. I'm
Let's
gonna
talk
be
a little
telling
bit more
stories
about
like Fat
music, man. What's that?
Joe. I said I'm gonna be telling stories like Fat Joe on that new podcast. You seen that podcast they got? He's been
Nah,
telling
what's
some
this?
crazy stories. Jada and Joe, I think it's called. It's a new podcast with Jada Kiss and Fat Joe talking some craziness, bro. You'll
They
see it
probably
though.
got some
You'll
great.
take it.
They probably got some great
Nah, he be
stories, honestly.
I'll let you see it because he be wildin'. Fat Joe
I
be
was gonna,
wildin', and
yeah,
Jadakiss just recently put him on blast, bro. You got to see it. It's hilarious.
yeah. I'll have to watch it. I wanted to talk a little bit more about music because
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
when you first started, you actually had a different name. You weren't Elion, right? You just came up with that name, what, like 10 years ago? And I remember when you changed your name, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was so upset because I was a big fan of the previous name, bro. And now
What
it
was the
bothers me.
previous name?
I was gonna say,
What was the,
I don't even, I don't even remember. Was it Cupid?
yes, yes, it was. Yes, it
It was,
was.
right? It was. I see. I
Yo.
fuck.
Oh,
See, I was like, yo,
bro.
it was Cupid,
Ah,
wasn't it? But I didn't want to be wrong. I didn't want to be wrong. It was Cupid, right?
you fucking nailed it, dude. You nailed it.
Yo, I was a big fan, Cupid, yo. I don't know. I was like, yo, Elion, what the fuck is that? No, like I was mad pissed, yo. So
You
why
know
the
why
name
I did
change?
that?
No, tell me.
So there was another artist that came out, like literally, and his name was Cupid, and he had something called the Cupid Shuffle. Do your
Yeah, I
dance,
know
do
the
your
song.
dance, do
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
dance, na na na. And so this day that became a line dance fucking
Hell yeah, we played it
staple
at
of
my wedding.
music. See,
To
that's
the
what I'm
right.
talking about. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to change my name after that one.
Oh shit!
You
I
know,
didn't even realize his name was Cupid. I knew the song was Cupid Shuffle, but wow. So where did Elion come from? It was a book or something, no?
Elion came from yeah. My dad has this book called the Angelorum, and it's got like all the names of the angels in there and like what they do in heaven and stuff like that. And I thought it was a fascinating book. It just gave me a lot of insight on the different roles of different angels, the classes, and what they do and stuff. And it was interesting because a lot of the stuff you don't really pick up from the Bible. It's more like through collections of other books written at the same time that weren't accepted by the Vatican and things like that.
Mm.
Um, but that book called the Angelorum, it had like a collection of all of the angels' names, like from A to Z, and what their roles were. And Elion was in that book, and there's multiple spellings for Elion, so it wasn't just like one or the other. And I picked the specific rendition of the one I had because I felt like it would just make more sense with our language, you know, with the English language. And this angel's um, role, if I remember correctly, he was in the celestial choir. He was a singer in the celestial choir, or is a singer in the celestial choir. I was like, you know what? I'm running with that.
That's actually a dope story.
I appreciate it. I mean, I actually came up with the similar name for my son. My son's name is Safariel. Safariel is also an angel in that book. But I forget what it was, like what his role was. I know that the way we came up with his name is we wrote a list down of all the names we liked. Me, Lawrence, um, Lolly, his mother, and we presented it. And we was at my dad's house, and we presented it to my dad. And we were like, "What name do you agree with?" We all agreed. We all had agreed on Safariel. Safariel looked
Mm.
like a nice name. And then we went up to my dad and we're like, out of these names, point to the one you think looks the nicest or you think is the best one. He's like, why don't you name him after you? I was like, his middle name is gonna be my name, but I want him to be his own person. I want him to have his own name. I want him to have his own identity, and then he was like, all right, and then he just picked that name, and we all ended up picking the same name, so
Cool.
we ran with Safario. But
I
there was
like
a
that.
few names up there. There
It's a
must have been
beautiful
like
name.
8 names. Thank you. Yeah, so his name is Safario Anthony Andrade.
Andrade. So for most people that obviously don't know, our family is extremely musically talented. Your father, he sings, he dances, right? Great
Mm.
dancer, great singer. And that's actually on the Andrade side that our family gets that. Unfortunately for me, I got two left feet and I can't sing for shit. But my mom, my mom passed that gene down to my older brother. So he's the one who could actually like hold a note. He could carry a note, right? And he could
Edgar?
dance. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So
snap.
he's actually the one. But me and Kevin, we got stiff from that gene. So what was that what I wanted to get to, what was that relationship like with you and your pops once you started singing? Was he super supportive of it? What did he have to say about it?
He was not super supportive of it at first because he really wanted me to follow. He wanted me to follow his footsteps, and I can
Mm,
see why. You know, We're talking about somebody who came to this country, didn't know a lick of English, you know, didn't know how to do anything. Oh, snap. I'm getting a crazy phone call from an A&R. You mind hanging just 1 second? Let me just pick this
Yeah,
up
yeah,
real
yeah.
quick.
No problem.
You know,
I'll pause this.
I'm gonna put him on speaker. No, what's going on, brother? Right now, I'm in a little podcast episode, but I'm here at the studio. You pulling up? All right, come through. Oh, oh, you in Worcester? Yeah.
All right. Sorry. You can go ahead.
Yeah, so the call I just got was from an A&R who's working with the exclusives. The exclusives, a lot of people may not know that name per se because they're a team of songwriters that write for R&B artists like Jacquees, Trey Songz, Chris Brown, Kaylani, Danny Lay, uh, 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 August Alsina. So they're behind like a lot of that. Like you hear all of that soulful neo soul. Like they
Yeah,
write songs and they do all of the background vocals and stuff, and they got like plaques on plaques. But this dude I met
it's
through
dope.
so Izzo, who was here earlier that you saw him,
Yeah,
he is Joyner Lucas's best friend. Joyner Lucas is a major artist from this area. We went to the same school, but he did songs with Chris Brown, Eminem. I don't know if you know who he is, but
no, I
he's
haven't heard
like
the name.
he's a rock star out here, bro. Like he is like legit. Did songs with Ty Dolla Sign, all that. But anyway, his best friend is now gonna start dropping music, wants me to co-produce. So that's where I'm at now. So I've been releasing my own music, but then I kind of put a pause to it because now I'm co-producing and I'm alongside these songwriters that want to write for his best friend who's the Afrobeat singer. They
Yeah,
also heard my music. They're like, "Bro, if we can get you to do some Spanish R&B like the stuff that Kaylani's dropping, we could
yeah.
just turn the whole game on its head, bro." And I'm
Oh,
like,
that's dope, man.
so he that was why he wanted to come through because he wants to sit with me. He's we're doing artist development stuff right now. It's a little late in the game for me, but better late than never. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that he wants me to improve. So I'm like, he's like, and it's gonna make you that much. This is how you sell records. Is the way I'm trying to, get you to record your
Right, right.
stuff. So it's like pronunciation, how you say things, how you sing it. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't just about holding a note and singing the right note. You could crack sometimes and it'll put inflection and emotion in your performance. There's certain things that he's
Mm.
trying to teach me, like low key behind the scenes, to bring me to that level. And I'm loving every second of it. You know what I'm
It's like
saying?
an equation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's teaching you that equation. You know.
Yeah, because a lot of people can't. It's one thing that you have talented people that sing like that naturally, but they can't explain to you how they sing that way.
Right.
Why they sing that way. Their mentality as they come up with runs or whatever. They don't. A lot of people don't have the mindset to be able to teach another person that. But this guy, he breaks it down for you. He's like every single melody has to have a purpose. Every single inflection have to have a purpose. Why are you singing it the way you're singing it? You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like it's major. It's major shit.
Yo, let's go back to what you were saying in regards to your pops not being supportive because I feel like this is a good story.
Oh, yeah, some groundbreaking stuff. Yeah, so
Yeah,
this is
man.
crazy
I
'cause
didn't
I never really
realize that
get
he
a chance.
wasn't.
I don't get a chance to talk about this stuff, this is actually a first. This is really deep. Um, and which is cool. I like it. It's my dad at first wanted me to follow behind his footsteps, doing a trade, working with cast iron, welding, stuff like that. And he would always have me working on the house. We had bought a house in 2003. Um, you know, as I told you, I was living with my aunt before that in Florida, and he was always
Right.
begging me, like, let me take care of you, let me watch you. I want you giving everybody else a chance. Why don't you give me a chance? And there was issues behind that, family issues on my mother's side you know, that caused that. But after I turned like 16, I was more conscious of my decisions. I was more aware of my surroundings, and I said, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Let me see what he's got to offer. And that's I had that conversation with my aunt. They sent me back, and then I ended up moving with my dad. That was around 2002.
Okay.
2002. You know what? Yeah, yeah, like 2002. I would have to say 2002, three,
This
something
was
like
a
that.
spot in Connecticut?
Yeah, this is when he didn't buy the house. The agreement was he was like, if you come live with me, if you tell me that you're willing to come live with me, I'll buy a house. Cause
Mhm.
and I told him like I can't live with you over there in that little rinky dink apartment. It was a little one
There's
bedroom
no room.
apartment. He had like four people living with him. I'm like, how can
Yeah.
he's like, no, you come to live with me, I'll buy a house. I was like, all right. And that's when he sold the yard. Remember, he had the yard in Brooklyn
Yeah.
and all of that. He
Mhm.
sold all of that, his business and everything packed up. And he had good work. He was just stacking up the whole time. But he got his pension through the trade and all of that. Bought the house. So he's got his pension, living off of the pension. He's got the house, and but we put sweat equity in it, meaning like he taught me how to fix certain things. Like we reconstructed the basement bathroom. We constructed a brand new bathroom in the first floor. We constructed a chapel room in the attic, and he's got his own little office space where he does his design plans and stuff in the attic next to the chapel room.
Oh,
So,
wow.
like, and we had to demolish a closet and rebuild the staircase, a new staircase to the attic, and close off the one that was leading from his master bedroom because he didn't like that floor plan. He thought it was stupid. And he was an architect, like, so he
Yeah.
knew what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? So he would draw up the
Right, right.
plans, he would tell me what I needed to do, and then I would have to go in and do it. I'd have to hold up the sheet metal, plaster it. I mean, not the sheet metal, the sheetrock,
Right.
plaster it, sand it down, all of that, put insulation before you put the sheetrock up, staple it in or nail it in, whatever needed, and then paint
Right.
over it and all of that. So that's what we had to do, and he wanted me to kind of follow in his footsteps of working with my hands. And it was cool. Like he taught me a lot, but it wasn't my passion. That was his passion. You know what I'm saying? He loved to do that kind of shit. That's why in the garage he has every single tool known to man. He just loves
Yeah.
working with his hands. And I
Mm.
respect that about him. And I have the mindset to be able to do that. Like if I need to figure out how to fix the sink or put in a water filtration system, which I did, I'll read the instructions, I'll figure it out, and I'll do it at my own pace and I'll get it done. But I wouldn't say that I'm like a handy guy like that. You know what I'm saying? Like where off the top I don't need an instruction manual. I'll just figure it out by looking. No. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna look at a YouTube tutorial if I have to, and I'm gonna figure it out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I'll do it to that extent. So he wanted me to follow in his footsteps. I didn't do that. And I started showing more affinity towards music. And he always told me, like, your uncle plays guitar. I do a little bit of singing. I never took it professionally, but there's no money in music, son. You better figure out a fallback plan or something, and he always kept that in my mind. So I never went to the extent of joining a trade or going to a tech school or anything like that. I just went to college, and for some reason I was always oriented towards office type stuff, administrative stuff,
Mhm.
and somehow I ended up getting looped into the financial industry. So like now it's like I work with people who are trying to qualify to buy a house. I help them figure that out, the numbers and stuff, if they can qualify or not. And that's what I do, when I'm not doing music, when I'm not performing or on tour or running sessions, you know. Um
How
and
does that
after a
balance work, though?
while, what was that?
I'm sorry, I was asking, how does that balance work? Like, do you work on
Oh, it
your own
works.
time,
It
your
it
own
wor it
out?
wor it
Yeah.
works to a degree. It works to a degree. I mean, as long as I can maintain closures, like getting closing and closing deals and getting clientele, I the company's off my back about it, you know?
Oh, okay,
The
cool.
moment that starts slipping up, they're gonna be like, "Hey, what's going on? We need some closings. We need this, we need that," you know?
I f Yeah.
Um, but, it takes a lot of sacrifice. I'm either sacrificing something in the music side or I'm sacrificing something on that side, And my dad wasn't supportive until he came to one of my shows and saw the amount of people that came to see us. Like there must have been like 1,000 people there, and he saw everybody. Like he looked at me different after that day. Like I
Oh, shit,
for
yeah.
sure after that day, he was like, okay. He's like, I don't have to worry about you. I feel like
You
you're
got
gonna be
something.
okay. Yeah, like he was like, I don't got like the rest of your brothers and sisters. I can't say the same, but he's like, I think you'll be all right. I'm not too worried about you. You know what I'm saying? So that felt good here coming from him
Some
because
respect,
he's
yeah.
not an easy person. He's not an easy person to satisfy. Like growing up with him when I was 16 and shit like that, I was the black. Even it's funny. It's ironic because I was the black sheep of the family, but I'm the most lightest skinned one. You know what I'm saying? Because you've
Oh
seen my
yeah,
brothers and sisters.
we're all
So
different
compared to them,
shades.
yeah, compared to them, I'm a gringo. They're more like around the same shade amongst them. They're like
Yeah,
dark
yeah,
skinned.
they're like me.
Me,
Yeah,
I'm like,
morena.
yeah, I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, but I'm real. I'm hincho is what they call me. Hincho is like white,
That should have
white.
been
You
your,
know what I'm saying?
yeah. Hincho should have been your name. Elion
Hincho,
Hincho.
that's hilarious.
Mm,
Hilarious.
that should
Nah,
that's an
but it's
album
it's
name
because
right
my
there.
mom. It's funny because my mom, she looks like a white lady, right? You met mom? Have you met my mom before?
I think I've only seen her in pictures. I don't remember ever meeting her.
Okay, so she looks like a white lady, but she's Puerto Rican, right? And it don't help that her name is Karen. It doesn't help. But you know,
It helps
she it's
resumes.
it does. That's why my dad called me Anthony. He was like, "I'm not gonna call you, Juan or some Spanish name." He's like, "I need you to look good on paper so you get that job." And I'm like, he was always on some extra, extra like deep
Yeah,
level
they had to
thinking
think like
stuff.
that though. I mean,
I
that's why
I guess so.
I'm Michelle Caroline, you know. But to them, like, you know,
Oh.
yeah,
It was crazy to me because before I knew your brother as Edgar, I knew him as Wildercito. I didn't know him as Edgar until a little bit later on.
yeah. And so I call him Will. I don't even call him Edgar.
So
That's
is
Will.
is did they change his name or was it a first name slash middle name situation?
This is the first name slash middle name. So he's got the same exact name as my pops, right? Where it's Edgar and then the middle name, but they go by the middle name. Like nobody calls my dad Edgar, right? Unless they're mad at him. They all call him Wilder, you know? And then Wildercito because he's the younger Will.
In English, Wilder is Wilder, and that's still like an English type of name, like
Yeah. But
Wilder, right?
yeah, like
Yeah.
yo, so all right, so my we laugh about it all the time. My dad was in a bowling league, right, back in the day, and on his bowling ball, because his Wilder, right? It
Mhm.
was Wild Things was the nickname of his bowling ball. Mad corny, but it fit, man. Wild
I
Thing.
didn't even know he was a bowler like that. Is he nice?
Nah, I was actually so funny enough.
She said, "Nah."
Nah, he so
Nah.
nah, he wasn't. See, so here's the thing. As a kid, right, my dad would take me and my brother bowling with him. We would go to the lanes over in Howard Beach, right? It was, yeah, Howard Beach or Rockaway, one of the two lanes, right? Because that's where his league was out of. And so he would bring me and my brother, and he would set me and Kevin up on our own lanes, and he would go and do his league stuff, right? And I used to
Mm,
think like, yo, this man is nice. He's getting strikes, this and that, because me and Kevin are playing with the bumpers. Fast forward in high school, I actually ended up bowling. And the reason that I did bowling was because I wanted to do a sport, right? And I should have just done basketball because I played basketball my whole life, but I didn't end up doing basketball. I should have tried softball. Didn't do that. Instead, I went with bowling because I actually liked the bowling coach. I thought he was funny as shit, man. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna come bowl for you. I thought bowling was gonna be cake, right? I go
yeah, when you
to
play sports like basketball, you look at bowling, you're like, this ain't shit."
yo for real. So that's exactly how I looked at it, right? And so I freaking go to tryouts. I'm trash, son. Like all these people, they're all bowling. I think like the lowest that they were bowling is like 140s. Everybody was like ripping 150s, 160s, 170s, like. And then me, I'm not even breaking 100, dude, right? And the
Oh
thing
my
was they
god.
needed bowlers for the JV league, right? So so whatever, tryouts happen, right? They go to post the names for people who make JV. And I asked the coach, I was like, hey, did I make the team? And he was like, "Yeah, everybody that tried out made the team. We need bowlers." Like, yo, that
Oh,
embarrassing, son. So I ended up making the team. I ended up making the team because he needed bowlers, right? Well, the following year, I actually ended up getting better. So the bowling coach, his brother was a professional bowler, and his brother would come out and work with us to like teach us actual technique form because it's a whole formula, son. I had no idea. Like those little dots on the floor, they mean shit. Each board means something. You know what I mean? And so I learned how to actually bowl. And so I ended up, averaging better. My senior year, I became the captain. My highest game is a 210 or 212, one of the two. But that, like, I never bowled that ever again, right? Never got a 300. But my senior year, I did break 200. So I was like super proud of myself. I say all
well, that's
that to
that's
say,
bound to happen when when you practice something and
oh
you're
yeah.
gonna get better.
But yo, and the other thing were these kids were bowling since the age of 5. Like they were doing bowling camps at 5 years old. I didn't even know that was a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like bowling camp. What? Like you know, you're
Yeah.
you're you're rich enough to get sent to bowling camp cuz I didn't have that luxury, you know
At
what I
what
mean?
what'd you say? Yeah, at the age of 5, you said?
Yeah, kids were going at like the age of 5. They've been bowling since they were like 5 years old. I didn't know that was a thing, you know?
Yeah,
Bowling
now you
camp.
got
That
me
sounds
thinking.
expensive as shit.
I
you know?
gotta put my son into something because he got too much energy. I gotta put him somewhere.
Yeah, man. Bowling cuz you learn how to focus. But here I say all that to
Yeah.
say this, right? So one year I think it was my senior year actually. I was like, "Oh, dad, for your birthday, I want to take you bowling." And I took that man bowling. Yo, I beat his ass so bad. I felt so bad. I was like, yo, I thought you were good, man. Like, yo, I felt terrible. I said, yo, happy birthday. Like, yo, I wasn't even trying. Like, after a while, I was just bowling. You know what I'm saying? Because it was so bad, and I still beat him. And he's my dad. You know
That's
him.
awesome.
He's cool. He's just happy to be included. He's like, that's okay. I still had fun. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, here, let me buy
Yeah,
you
that's
some ice
awesome.
cream too, yo.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I don't think I even have a story like that. Like, I know me and my dad, we would play soccer and stuff here and there, but I
Oh
never
yeah,
had a chance to really compete against my dad in something. You know what? Wait, maybe pool. I think pool. We played pool together, and I beat him to the or chess. We played chess, and I
ooh, that's a good
recently
one.
no, we listen. My dad he's a problem with chess. He is a
So is
problem.
mine.
So
I
so
can't
so
even
like
play chess.
really, yeah. So I play with my dad, and I remember beating him bad. I annihilated him.
You
Like
spanked him.
I took. And listen, the thing is that I surprised myself when I with the way that I won. I said, "Your head must have not been in this game." He's like, "No,
Oh
no,
shit.
you won fair and square." I was like, I was a
Yeah.
little taken aback by how bad he lost to me on that one. But it was the same thing. He was proud. He was proud that he could see improvement in my game. Because for a long time we would play, I learned how to play when I was in Florida, and I would tell him, "Oh, I know how to play chess. Show me." And then he would just rock my world, and I'd be like, "Yo,
Yeah.
he's crazy with it." You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
then it got to the point where I just kept playing, 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 playing with my aunt, with my friends out there. Like the thing is, when I lived out there, I wasn't. It was a different ball game. I'm telling you. Like, remember, my uncle was in the army, bro. Before I went to school, tuck your shirt in. This is what you're wearing. These are the shoes. Like,
Yeah,
listen,
yeah.
it was crazy. All right, it
Everything
was
was
crazy.
outlined for you. Yeah.
It was yeah, like it was wild. It was wild. So like I was involved with a lot of the more intellectual kids. Like
Mm.
I would be like drama club. Um uh chess. I wasn't on the chess team, but I knew cats from the chess team, and I would be like their sparring partner in the after school program. You know what I'm saying? Like we would
Yeah,
just play,
yeah.
and I would learn their moves and how they play. I remember losing to one guy in 4 moves. I was like, "How did you do that?" And he taught me, and I was like, And I be trying to pull it off on my dad, but he sees it coming every time. He's like, "You need to try something else." I'll be like, "Alright," you know?
Yo,
But,
all
like
the guys are good in our family. They're all good at chess because even my dad said he used to play my mom's father all the time, you know?
Hey there, story seekers. Are you tired of the tedious workout attire? You know, the average positive message, but it doesn't really get the point across. It doesn't really resonate with you because you're too badass and rough around the edges to wear something cute. I've got the apparel just for you, something that's a little more kick ass. Check out the brand Iron Outlaws and buy yourself clothes that matches your attitude. You can't hit a PR wearing something subpar when you're the kind of person who wants to run through a wall. No, you need something tough. Use code STORIES at checkout and become part of the Outlaw family because average isn't for everyone.
oh,
Yeah.
yes.
So
And that's cool. That's a cool little way to connect with your spouse's people, when you can play a board game or, it's
it
good to
is
be able to do that. It brings the dynamic of the family a lot closer.
for sure. For sure. Yeah, cuz I mean, one way that I think that my father-in-law and I bond is like watching TV together, sports, and we just talk sports, He's a man that loves to watch all sports.
Oh yeah. See,
Yeah,
me and
so
my
he
dad, we go ham about politics.
Oh,
He
really?
become the
Oh,
man.
man, I can't do it. Your dad's a big
Listen,
politics guy, though, no?
he is huge. The thing
Yeah.
is like he created the monster I am in this politics.
Yeah.
Even though we disagree on a lot, like, he created it because I remember when 9/11 happened, and then they were like, "Okay, we're gonna go get him in Afghanistan, Osama bin Laden." And then it was like,
Mm,
"Oh, Saddam Hussein is also a part of it, as whatever. He got nuclear, just we're gonna go to Iraq." And then, like, I was, like, ready to enlist, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm ready to fight for my country. He's like, "What are you, an idiot?" I was like, "Why?" He was like, explaining to me, like, here's why they went from one country to the other, and it's not even fully true. And you got to pay attention because you're going to put your life on risk for a cause that is not going to serve you. You know what I'm saying? It's
mm.
just like, and he would really break it down to me back then, considering what was going on back then. Right.
Right, right.
So, back then, he opened my mind to the idea of, wait a minute, governments aren't 100% truthful. Wait, what? Like,
He's a
so
big
it went.
conspiracy guy too, no?
I don't think he's a big conspiracy guy because there's stuff that I put him onto that he was like, and I'm like, yeah, I know I sound
Yeah.
crazy, right? I be sounding crazy sometimes, but that's what happens when you do research, man. You sound like a kook. You know what I mean? That's what they call you. But
Yeah, it's
there's
true.
stuff that we talk about, and he's gonna be a Democrat. That's his thing, and I understand the idea and the history behind it. I get it, but I just think that there's a lot of there's a lot of misinformation, not just on the Democratic side, but also even on the Republican side. And I
Yeah,
think that the true matter of it is that we're truly, even Democrats and Republicans on our tax bracket, we're all literally want the same thing. But
I agree.
we just we're so like saturated with propaganda and like misinformation that we think we're associated with a particular party when we're really not. We're associated with a particular class. We're not associated with a particular party, if that makes
Mm.
any sense. Like I
Yeah, I
said,
think
we're
I
all
follow.
in the same tax bracket. So it's like what benefits us is truly a set certain thing, but every time they propose new legislation and stuff like that, they keep adding extra shit in there that furthers their agendas, whichever side it is. And
Yeah.
it doesn't always benefit us. You know what I mean? So that's why it's like they keep us fighting with each other, and they keep
Mhm.
passing their laws and doing what they're doing at that level. The moment everybody realize, okay, hold up, wait a minute, let's hang on, pause the game real quick. What do you want? You want this? I want that too. What about you? You want that? I want that too. All right, cool. You know what? All right, we're here. This is us. This is
Yeah.
us. And whatever they're pushing, we're not gonna accept until we have our all on the same page. You know what I'm saying? I think
Yeah.
that's what needs to happen at some point. which I don't know if that ever will really, but yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
that
hard.
his
It's
whole
hard.
mentality is different. He's insightful because he pays attention to international news. Like
Right.
he doesn't just get his information from one source. So he's resourceful. He's got a good grasp on certain things, but there's things outside of his purview that I kind of introduce to him. Like, hey, there's other things at play here. It's not just what it seems for the surface level. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Um, yeah, and like I said, after some time, man, on a level of the music, on a level of my maturity, on a level of just me as an adult, and he's grown to um I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say approve of me because he's always approved of me, but
It's like a
it
different
was
level of
more of a
respect, you know?
yeah,
Comes down to,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
respect. I
yeah,
feel that
yeah. It's
'cause, it was the
yeah.
same thing with my dad, you know? Unfortunately for us, we have fathers that, like you said, they're a little bit hard to get that good job from. You know what I'm saying? I don't think my dad growing up really ever told me good job. It wasn't until I became an adult and he saw me a product of him and he's like, "Oh, good job," because he did a good job. You know what I'm saying? Like like I didn't really get a good job. Nah, it was you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Good.
100% right. And you know
You know
what?
what I
That's
mean?
cool too. I can appreciate that because it
I
makes
do
you
too.
strive for even more. You know what I'm saying? And then when you achieve those things, at some point you got to give in and be like, all right, all right, all right. I give you that. You did well on that one. Good shit. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like at some point you got to come to that point. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're just going to have a broken kid who's always going to try to please you and your like insatiable thirst for approval or whatever. But
You get
we've
daddy
been
issues,
blessed.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, seriously, I think we've been blessed. People like me and you've
We
been
have been.
blessed to have the kind of dads that we have, where they make us strive for more, and then they reward us when we achieve, you know, some um efficient things, some effective things, some consequential things. Because
No,
it's
yeah,
one thing
absolutely.
to get your certificate in something. It's another to get a degree in something. It's another
Mm,
thing to, get your high school diploma. It's another thing to get your college degree. There's levels, right? So it's
right.
like these are the certain things that are expected of you. But then once you start going above and beyond that, credit you give credit where credit is due, and I feel like
What
that's
kind of
unique
father do
here.
you think that you're going to be or are already? Do you see yourself kind of being the way that our dads are? Or are you more
Wow.
modernized, more Americanized? Because, I mean, both of our
I'm
dads
definitely more
immigrants, you know?
Americanized for sure. That goes without saying. Americanized, yeah. But as far as like, um, you know, I worry as a father, um,
Okay.
because laws have changed and things are different than when we were growing up. When we were growing up, you could get your ass whooped and it was par for the course.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, you got this gentle parenting movement,
Oh, yeah.
but then you got these kids who are being bombarded with dopamine through their phones and stuff, and now they're having attention deficit issues and um, tantrums and fits. So it's a whole different ball game in society today than it was yesterday. Um, and I think we should bring some ass whippings back. I don't,
I don't
people might
disagree.
want to cancel me
I
for
don't have
that.
a kid, but
People might want to cancel me for that. I'm not an abusive parent. I'm very supportive of my son. And it's ironic that I say that because I haven't spanked my son. Maybe I slapped him on the wrist for something really bad. But most of the time, what I do, if not 95% or 98% of the time, what I do is I take things away from him. If he
mm,
wants to play with his phone, nope, you're not playing with that. You want to play with your Legos? Nope, you're not playing with that because you wasn't listening. I take away whatever it is that brings him that joy until he realizes why it was taken away from him, why he's apologizing. Understand it, and not just
mm,
apologizing for the sake of apologizing, but changing his behavior. doing better, remembering you that little voice in the back of your head. Yeah, I should probably not do that because it's gonna make them upset, and I don't want to get my phone taken away. You know, stuff like that. And it's I guess it's programming really at the end of the day. You know, we're
Yeah.
programming our son to learn that discipline. You know, and it's an ever elusive battle. It's but I feel the type of dad that I am. I'm I'm already super supportive of him. I'm already like he'll he'll make a basket. And I'm like, great job, boy, great job, buddy. You know, like I'm like
Yeah.
so you know, and he's like, Dad, you see, I did that. Oh, I'm so proud of you. You know, like I'm like that already. So like I feel like I need to dial it back. I feel
Mm,
like I need to dial it back just to give him the sense of I want to impress my dad. You know, I don't want him to feel like anything impresses me. You know what I mean?
mm,
So that's
yeah.
that's 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 one of the things that I gotta watch out for. Other than that, you know, um, just making sure he is on his P's and Q's about reading and always wanting to learn, you know, not thinking of learning as a punishment or a consequence, but thinking as of learning as a privilege and something fun to do.
You want them to have that curiosity, be inquisitive.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
major, major.
Yeah.
That is super major. There's people who, you know, you don't know how many people I grew up with. They didn't go to college, and I've had conversations with them. You know, like, "What's up, man? What you gonna do, bro? Like, what's going on?" You know, college ain't for everybody. Well, okay, I can understand, you know, on a financial standpoint that how that would make sense. But to say that you're, I mean, how many people died just for the privilege to learn how to read? You know, how many people, you know, sacrifice things for that purpose because they knew the importance of reading and understanding and writing and its effect on being able to contribute to society on a level where now you can make some good money, whether you become a doctor, a lawyer, or, you know, whatever. You know, reading and
Yeah.
writing is like the part of the fabric of society, you know,
It's the
and it's like,
foundation.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that and the curiosity to keep learning. You know, if you don't want to keep learning, then that's you're cutting yourself short, you know, and people who say, "Oh, it ain't for everybody," da, 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 just don't sell yourself short. You know, before you even try, give it a shot. Give it a decent shot. You know, you might surprise yourself because there were times where I felt like, you know, at my level of learning when I went from living with my mom to going to Florida where I got picked up by my aunt. I I was in the 6th grade. No, I was in the 7th grade, about to go into the 8th grade. But my reading level was decent, but my math level was at a 3rd grade level. Like I was really far behind on the thing cuz I didn't care about school, you know, and
Mhm.
um when they put that energy into me and they put that positive reinforcement when I did do well, when I did pass certain tests, when I did retain information from my classes, you know, it made me feel good. It made me feel good and it made me want to strive for more. Then I ended up surpassing you know, my students, my other students that
Your
are in the
peers,
class.
yeah.
Yeah, my peers. I ended up surpassing them and doing more. And I got to the point where my aunt even thought that I wasn't going to be able to hang because I remember my teacher saying, "Your grades are good enough for you to actually try to go into an honors class, like a algebra honors or an advanced placement class."
Oh, that's great,
And I
man.
said, "You know what? Bring it on." I was like, "Bring it on. I want the challenge." Okay. Now, it was hard to see a kid who was enthusiastic about learning math or science, but I was like, "I'm down. I want to do it. I want to see if I can push myself." And my aunt was like, "I don't think you can handle it. I think you should just, you know, do the 1A thing and then go to the 1B thing later on." And I was like, "No, I'm going to take the whole thing." And I took the whole thing and I ended up passing with flying colors. And she was like, "I'm sorry for doubting you," you know, and I was just like, "See, I told you." And like it was
That's
just the
awesome.
fact that I proved someone who cared, not that she didn't believe in me, but it was just she didn't want me to fail. She was afraid that I was going to set myself up for failure, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And just the fact that I was able to surpass that, you know, it
She wanted to
taught
shelter
me
you,
something.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it taught me that, you know, don't limit yourself. If you're going to do something, do it to the best of your abilities and you might surprise yourself. You might see that you're you're exceptional in something.
That's awesome, man. That's a dope story. I didn't realize that, you had all these things happen to you in your childhood. I mean, the only time that I got to see you, like I mentioned earlier, was really during the holidays when you would come up and celebrate with our side of the family. And then for the
Mm,
most time, I didn't really get to see you throughout the years. So it's cool having this conversation and actually getting to learn about what your upbringing was like versus, what mine was like.
mm. Yeah, or even my brothers and my sisters, they were always
Yeah,
kind of
even that.
they had their family foundation. Me, it was just kind of like I was flowing. It was me and Peter have parallel lives to an extent. Because he was with his mom and I was with my mom. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But his mom was kind of like there for him and stuff like that. And I not to say I'm speaking from because I don't really know his day in and day out. So only he would be able to tell you. But I could tell you that my situation wasn't, you know, it was just it was tough. It was a tough upbringing. And I think a part of that is what contributes to what we were saying earlier, like having that drive, being ambitious. I feel like those things they grow in you through adversity, through
I
challenges in
agree.
life, you know?
I agree. And sometimes, I feel like I feel like you need that, you know. It's tragic when things happen to people at a young age, right? But a lot of the time something beautiful stems from it. Something beautiful grows from it. They get that drive like you talked about, right? And then they're able to pursue something, whatever it is that they want to pursue, and succeed at it. They
Yeah.
learn life lessons so early. I feel like because I've had things happen to me when I was younger, I found myself being a little bit more mature compared to, my peers around me where they didn't experience those same things and they
Mm,
experienced something maybe a little later in life. And it was like, they like a perfect example that I can give you is when I was in the military, right? Now, I joined at a little bit older of an age, right? I was old because I was 23. There was people that out of high school, you had 17-year-olds that their parents had to sign for them to join, right? And then you had the 18-year-olds and 19, people that still couldn't even drink, right? And what what I remember is they had such a hard time following directions because
mm,
they were being yelled at, right? And so, one of the big tips that any recruiter will tell you is don't listen to how they're saying it, listen to what they're saying. So, even though they're yelling at your face and they're telling, like, listen to what they're saying for you to do, not how they're saying it, right? And people would get all flustered and stuff and they're being yelled at for like the first time ever in their life. Whereas, like, that to me was a normal Tuesday morning and Tuesday afternoon with my parents. You know what I mean? I get the noise, sit down, you know what I mean? Like, and you just like you just shut up and you just did it, and you didn't skip a beat. You know what I mean? But people had such a hard time because they never been in an environment like that. Whereas me, I thrived in it. I was good at that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I was good at
mm.
that shit because I had already had that experience. It was different, right? It's not like my mom and dad weren't in the military. They weren't, but they were militant. You know what I'm saying? Like they liked things a
Oh,
certain
I like
way. I
that.
had
Yeah, yeah.
structure. You know what I'm saying? Like I had structure. I had a different upbringing. Whereas other people, like, yeah, man, they were able to do whatever they wanted to do. And when that got stripped from them because they joined the military and now they had to do what someone else was telling them to do, forget it. They were running around like a chicken with no head, you know? They
Mm,
couldn't, and the other thing was they couldn't handle freedom. And that was the other thing that I wanted to mention. So,
freedom.
first, they take away your freedom, right? And you got none because they're telling you what to do. And then, little by little, they start giving you your freedom back. And what do people do when they start getting their freedom back? They don't know how to fucking act. Now they're getting in trouble. They're having alcohol related incidents. They're, um, taking part in like, uh, unfortunately, not sexual consent and this and that. And now they're getting in trouble. Whereas, like, for me, I'm like, oh, okay, now you're giving me a little bit of my liberties back. I'm going to be smart about this. Other people, they just like, oh yeah, I could do this now, and then they just go and do it. They don't know how to act, But again, there's that like that maturity, you know,
Yeah,
experience,
yeah,
maturity. It all comes together.
100%, 100%. Yeah, that's crazy. Pops was um Pops was in the military actually, but this was in Ecuador. He was
Hmm.
telling me some stories, but he wasn't in for long. He must have been like a low-ranking officer of some sort, very briefly. He mentioned something along those lines, and it kind of they did the same thing. It was like boot camp type stuff, teaching you how to do your bed first thing in the morning, get up, clean,
Yeah.
take care of things, like be orderly and all of that. And I think some of that also seeped into the house. I think that's key. It's important to have that kind of background in one way, shape, or form. I never been in the military, but I could say that, you know, I could see how it's useful to have that kind of background and applying it at home, especially if you got kids, whip their ass into shape. You know what I'm saying? Like keep them on the straight and narrow. Like I like that. I like that a lot.
But that's why I love the thing that I love about Omelet is he's such a good listener for a dog. Like, and it's so funny because I know he's a good listener. So when someone else notices that he's a good listener, like that means a lot to me too. So
Mhm.
recently, Gigi and I we left our dogs at the boarding place that we. It's the same place that we get our dogs trained at, right? So they're familiar with our boys, and so in the little report card they said that Omelet was a good listener, because he's so obedient. He is so obedient, and that's the like trait that I love about him. The other dogs, not as much. They'll listen sometimes, but Omelet, like you won't even be talking to him and he'll do the command because he just
What?
wants, yeah, because he just wants to listen. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to get yelled at. He's so scared of getting yelled at. He's like, I'm just gonna be a good boy all the time.
Oh, he's got that personality type. He's the pleaser.
He is the pleaser. He is the pleaser. My baby. He doesn't want to get in trouble.
Is that the pit or is that the which one
That's
is
the
that one?
pit. Yeah, that's the
That's the
pity.
pit? Oh, snap. That's the pit.
Yeah.
See, I knew
Yeah.
I liked pits for a reason.
Yeah, man. He's just, I don't know, something about him. He's a special boy. But what I was going to say, kind of going back to, having kids and stuff, I think that that's something, when my wife and I, when we go to have kids, that's a little something that scares me is that I'm going to be too hard on my kid. I have that fear. I have that fear that I'm going to, um, not I don't think I'm going to be as tough as my parents were on me, just because as we mentioned we're more Americanized, and it seems that immigrant parents are a little bit stricter, right? So I probably won't set the same like rules and stipulations on my kids. I can't imagine that, but I do fear that I'm going to be tough, and I'm scared because I don't want to I still want to be gentle, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. And you
It's
know
like a
what?
hard
To that, I
balance.
would say, I think my aunt had the perfect approach to it. I think she did. In retrospect, like thinking about it now, I think she had the perfect approach because she had the iron fist, but she had the velvet glove covering the iron fist. So it
That's
was like
beautiful.
so it was like, you know, it was it was like when she was pissed, oh, you was gonna get it. You was gonna get it. But when she was proud of you, you would get your reward, and it would be something that you'd be like, "Oh, snap, thank you." You know what I'm saying? Like, and it would be worth it. You know what I mean? Like, you know how sometimes you feel like you do above and beyond, and then they give you a little, "Here, take this. Have
A
a
little
nice
piece of
little day."
chocolate.
Yeah, it's like, "What the fuck
Yeah.
is this?" You know what I'm saying? But it was like when I did something exceptional, she was like, we're going to Chuck E. Cheese. Or you know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Or let's
yeah.
go to the movie. Let's go do
Yeah.
this. Let's go do that. I'm gonna take you. What game did you like to get? Did you want to play? And the thing is, they kept me away from video games for a long time. Rightfully so, bro. Rightfully so,
Really?
because and they knew I had a little bit of an addiction to video games because when before I moved in, that was my babysitter. Like when my mom left me at home by myself, um,
Mm,
I didn't have nobody taking care of me. That was part of the issue with DCF and stuff. They got notified that I was a neglect case. So that's how like my aunt, if my aunt didn't step in, I would have ended up going to a foster home. So she stepped in
Shout out
because
to her
that would have
then,
ended
man.
up happening. Yeah.
For
So
real.
with the whole situation, like I would just be at home by myself playing video games. You know what I'm saying? So with the video games, it was just like um it was like a babysit pizza. What?
Look at that, yo, pizza on
Oh,
screen.
bro, nah, bro.
what,
And it's
what
still
was
warm.
Izzo?
Nah,
Izzo's the name?
that's my
That
man.
was
Yeah,
Izzo.
my man. Izzo. Yeah, that's
Yo,
Izzo
shout
right
out to
there.
Izzo, man.
Coming in clutch with the pizza.
Right?
That's crazy.
That's what's up, man. That's good people right there.
For real. So, what was I saying? This pizza just threw me off track. What was I talking about? I was talking about the
Your aunt stepping in
so
and the video
yeah,
games.
but right, video games. These kids, they getting addicted to these video games, and it's been happening since I was little. So
Hmm.
my aunt, she was like, "We're gonna get you to focus on your schoolwork. We're gonna get you to focus on what matters. We're gonna remove the video games for now." Now my heart was broken. I'm like, "Oh, well, there was games I wanted to finish playing, beat, whatever." They were like, "But if you do good in school and stuff like that, come summertime, we'll let you play here and there." It's like, "What do you mean here and there? Like it's gonna be summertime. Like I should be playing every day. Like I'm good, especially if I'm doing good in school." Nah, nah, nah. We got other things in mind for you. All right, whatever. So, when that time came, I would get the good grades. I'd be like, so what do you have in mind? We would be going to Universal Studio. We would be going to like, what I'm saying? Like
Oh, that's
different
cool.
bush gardens, water parks, stuff like that. There wasn't really time to think about video games. I was playing
Yeah, yeah,
sports. They had me involved in a lot of more real life things. You know what I'm saying?
for sure.
I was lucky, and that's what I think these kids need, man. I understand if you don't got the funds like that, and that's the best you could do. All right, keep the kid out of the streets, give him a video game, give him a computer. Maybe they can make some music, make some beats, record, whatever. But like, if you got the means, or if you could get your hands on some scholarship programs to get your kid into some pee wee stuff, whatever, just do that. You know what I'm saying? Let your kid go out there and be a kid. You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know what it's like up in Massachusetts, but I know in Jersey, growing up, karate, yeah, karate schools are expensive, but there was always like little karate programs that were held at a elementary school for like half the cost. You could do that, or like free programs at the local library, right? That's something that a lot of people don't think about, but local libraries, they hold a lot of things.
I just started taking little man to the library, and I just found out they got video games.
Yeah, they got a lot of things at the library, man. It's
I didn't
such
know
a
that.
it's such a great place. Most people just think that it's books, but nah, they got everything. I remember I used to go to a math tutor. That was where I initially had a math tutor was from the library, and he
Wow.
would just help us with our homework,
Now, were
and
you
then
behind on math and stuff, or was it just because you wanted to excel in it?
so I was always bad at math. I wasn't behind. I was in the appropriate grade level. I just sucked at it. I just never, and what's so funny is I was so bad at it because I didn't realize what the pattern was for math. It's always the same. Like 2 times 3 is always going to be 6. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't
Mhm.
realize that until after high school and I got to college. And in college is when I actually started liking math. I was doing like pre-algebra, or I'm sorry, pre-calculus and stuff like that.
Wow.
So that's when I was like, oh, like I get it now. It's a pattern. It's always the same. But in high school, I had such a hard time, man. I always excelled in like creative writing, language arts, reading. Like that was history. Those were my subjects. That's where I was good. But like science and math, I was not good.
Yeah, see, I could say the same except that math, I was behind, like I said, but then I ended up excelling and then like getting crazy with it. But science was always a challenge. But there was this one kid in my class. His name was Hamza, this Indian kid.
Hmm.
and this kid was a fucking genius. Like he got straight A's across the board, no matter what you threw at him. This kid was just a whiz. Okay,
Yeah.
and I ended up befriending this kid. Like I ended up, and I always like pick his brain, like, "Yo, how did you figure that out?" Da-da-da-da-da. He's like, "It's
Yeah.
easy."
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, "Bro, what are you talking about, bro?" She didn't even mention that. He's like, "No, I study at home too." I'm like, "Whoa," because his parents are Indian, like they're on his ass. All right, so
Yeah. Yeah. The immigrant parents, yo, I'm telling you.
yo, take it to the next another level. Anyway, so I befriend this kid, and even though we were friends, it was like a friendly rivalry. Like I always was trying to keep up with him when it came to grades.
Mm.
So like it became a competition and it was fun to me. So in science class specifically, that was a class that I had the most challenge. I would always get a B and he would always have the A. And I'm like, yo, I'm trying to get that A, but I can't, son. It was just a challenge. But after that whole time frame, we ended up going to different schools, and then I never really could get an A in science, but I always maintained a good strong B.
Okay, yeah. I was same. I was like a B student with science. Math, I was more like a C student. I'm not even gonna lie. I had a real hard time. Like B C's, but
Mm.
I was good with the other stuff.
That's crazy though. See, I didn't know all of that.
Yeah, man. I was nice with especially with like language arts. I was always creative. I was always a good writer. So
Oh, we got a lot
those
of
were
similarities. You still playing guitar?
I'm not. No, I wish, man. I wish I was still playing guitar. I was trash even when I was playing. Everyone's like, "Oh, you were so good." I was horrible. I was so bad.
Why you're always gonna be your own worst critic though. I don't think you were that bad.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I would like to pick it back up. I don't even remember my chords that well. To be honest, yeah, I don't even think I remember the chords at
Listen, I
all.
was practicing literally like 4 months ago. I got to the point where I could play one song and sing at the same time, which is
That's
that Bill
so
Withers
hard. That's
"Ain't No
so hard to
Sunshine."
do.
Okay, the
Yeah,
only song I could play and sing at the same time. I haven't played it in like 3 months, and I forgot how to do it. I can't even
yeah.
remember.
I
You gotta
remember.
stay on it. That's the thing. You
Mm-hmm.
gotta stay on it, in order to like keep your because there's people who are in my band that like we won't have rehearsal for like 3 weeks. And then when we come back to rehearse to get ready for a show, it's like, well, how do you do this again? It's like, bro, we've been playing the same songs for how long? And you gonna tell me that after 3 weeks of not rehearsing, you still haven't? Yeah, bro, it's just I don't know what it is. It's just like that. You know what I
That's
mean? It's just
crazy. It is a lot of like memorization, and shit, man. My memory, it's not as good as it once was. When I was younger, yo, I was on the money with that shit. I could remember everything. But
yeah, but you're making it seem like you are OG now. How
son,
old are
yo,
you? Like you're like 28. You're not even
yeah,
28. How old are you?
right. No, I'm 34. I'm old head
What?
now, yo. I'm old
Stop
head.
it! You are
Yeah,
34?
bro,
I
I'm
would
gonna be
have
35
never
in
guessed
November.
that. I would have never guessed that.
I know it's some genes, boy. We look good because you don't look your age.
Yo, yo,
You don't look.
34, Michi?
I.
I thought you was like
How old are
28 at
you?
most.
Nah, yeah,
Oh, don't
man.
get me started. I'm creeping up on 40. I'm 38. I'm gonna be 39
You're gonna be 39. You
in
just turned
October this
38, right? Oh,
I
okay,
turned
October.
38
That's
last year. I'm about to be 39, girl.
shit, man.
I'm the OG. I'm the old head out here.
You was before me.
And it's crazy because like I'm really not that far behind, like ahead of you. Like, it's what, five
No, you're
years, but
not.
it's like that 5 years, like I'm telling you,
Nah, not even.
34 is the new 24, and 39 is the new 29. I'm telling you.
It really is,
That's
man.
good.
We older now with money. That's really just it,
That's
Because
right.
I
We
know I
still
didn't
look
have
good.
the
We
same
still
money at
youthful.
24. Hell yeah,
Yep.
it's still. I look better. What? Aging like fine wine over
100%.
here, yo.
I've been looking at pictures when I was younger, and I'm like, oof.
Yo, for real, me too. I'm like, when I feel like I actually started. looking good, I would say when I was 26. Like when I got home from Afghanistan, I was like, oh yeah, like that. Like I needed Afghanistan. That gave me some good maturity. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
that's right.
Yeah,
You
like
did
that.
go out there, huh? How
Yeah, I
was
was
it
out
out
there.
there?
It was different. It was a good experience though because I got to do something completely different than most people that have my job get to do. I was security forces. I don't know if you know what that is, but essentially it's cop mix like security, right? So when I was out there, I was part of TAC Air, and I worked with the air advisors. So instead of me just guarding a gate all day and scanning IDs and telling people like yes they could come on base, I actually got to work with the Afghani military and the ones that were getting trained by our American military, right? And so I was there to pretty much be like a barrier to make sure that nothing happened to our Americans because in the past we did have an insider threat and they, decided to unfortunately, kill a few of our men back in like 2014 if I'm not mistaken. um
Holy
and
shit.
that was during an intel briefing. I can't really remember exactly like what happened, but from my understanding it was some type of some type of misunderstanding. The Afghanis didn't like what was happening or being said or whatever. And mind you, we're a coalition. We're helping them. We're training their military, but something happened where there was, some rifts, and instead of communicating and talking, they went back to their barracks, grabbed their weapons, came and shot up a bunch of our advisors. So that's where my job as a guardian angel got created. And since then, we had what's called guardian angels kind of work as the security for our military advisors that are out there. So I was a guardian angel.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a
Wow.
really neat
I
job.
do
It was
think
really
like
neat.
yeah, that's a very unique niche type of job because we we hear through our newscasters and stuff. Oh, we have different mercenaries being trained by our special forces, and we have different situations where all around the world, like we have trainers and advisors, but you don't really think about how those proceedings take place. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And you
Hmm.
probably have a little bit more insight and got a chance to see and like not only see but like as you said, like it's not like it was all, oh yeah, come on in, we're all gonna get together and have a great time. No, there's been some shit,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's
I
things
mean,
that people don't even think about.
no, yeah, for sure. And I mean, like getting to be with the Afghanis day in and day out because the only thing, like, we just didn't eat with them, right? And we didn't like sleep in the same quarters. They had their living quarters and we had ours. But from the start of our shift to the end of our shift, we were surrounded by them, because it was their flight line. It wasn't the American flight line, it was the Afghani flight line that we were on. And so it was cool to actually get to experience their culture to an extent. I also got to do what's called JRAC, so basically like convoys outside of base, and from we would go from one base to another base. I also got to do fast flyaway security, so that was cool. I got to do that for aircraft. That's basically being security for an aircraft, and flying with the aircraft and coming back with it and stuff like that. So it was a very unique experience, and like I said, not everyone um, gets that lucky, but I got lucky enough to do that in
So you
2016.
you got you got like close quarter combat training and all of that
I
to
did,
take
yeah.
place as a
Hmm.
guardian angel. That's
I
some
did,
real shit,
yeah.
man. Like, is it like mixed martial arts type stuff?
There was some. We call it combatives, but yeah, they teach us everything from with our rifles, even if our stuff gets grabbed, like how to act, right? Most people want to pull the weapon away. don't pull the weapon away. You push it into them and then you shoot, because why are you going to try to do this fight where you're tugging away and now that person's tugging? No, you want to try to take my weapon? Here you go. You know what I mean? And you push it into them. And
Oh snap!
that's how you get it out. That's how you get it off. Yeah. Don't go with the
Wow,
opposite force, you go with it. You know, just a whole bunch of different stuff, but yeah, man. Yeah.
that's some in depth stuff. Don't want to give away too many secrets now.
Nah, yeah, definitely not. But that's with any weapon, right? Let's say you got an intruder in your house and they go to try to take the bat from you, right? You're swinging a bat, and they go to try to take the bat from you. Push that bat into them. You know what I mean? Same difference.
Hmm.
Because what's gonna happen is they're
Speaking of that
likely
stuff,
gonna let go of it. And then you could go ahead and continue swinging.
after seeing what they did, after seeing what they did to PNB Rock, I was like, bro, I'm getting my LTC. I ain't playing that.
I'm not familiar.
License to carry.
No. What happened?
Oh, PNB Rock. He's an artist that I opened up for. He got that song, Selfish.
Mm.
I want you all to myself. I don't need nobody else. I swear, yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
No, but
I
that
this,
sounded good. Keep singing for the podcast.
well, shout out to PNB Rock, rest in peace. But he had this song
Oh
called
shit!
Selfish.
No,
Fire.
yes, you're right. Yeah, and I know exactly what you're talking. In California, right?
Yeah, he was at a
Burger joint
Roscoe's
or some
Chicken and
shit.
Waffles.
Oh,
Roscoe's Chicken
okay.
and Waffles in Compton, I believe, Compton,
Mm-hmm.
and he walked in with all his jewelry and shit. And I think he was with his BMs and his kids or something like that. And so they just saw him with his jewelry and they were like, "We want that." And he was like, "Well, you're not gonna have it." But he wasn't strapped or nothing, and he didn't have security either. So they was just like, "So what's to stop us?" And he was just like, "Do you know who I am?" They were like, "We don't care." They shot him in the spot. He died. It was all on camera.
Yeah,
But when
yeah,
I
I
seen
remember
how they
seeing
did
it
that,
now.
man, when I seen how they did that, man, bro, I was like, yeah, I can't be caught slipping like that.
It's
I
cold,
was like,
man. Yeah, rest in peace
if I
to
don't have my
him.
own
I forgot
security, then
about
I'm
that.
at least gonna be strapped. I'm at least gonna be strapped. I can't just be out here like that.
Nah, good for you, man. Yeah, and it's unfortunate that it has to come to that, but you know that's why we
See,
have the
this is
Second
case.
Amendment.
It's like right, and it's like your podcast says, right? It's stories I shouldn't tell.
Hmm.
I've been shot at before. You know what I'm saying? Like crazy, and it wasn't even for me. It was like for
Oh
somebody I
shit.
was next to, and thank God till this day I'm here. Amen.
Amen.
In Jesus' name. But it's like it was crazy because like I'm kicking it with some dude that I was cool with at the time. Not even cool with the dude anymore, and it was for something completely different. But
Mm.
I was cool with the dude. It was a cookout. We're all chilling, having a good time, whatever. His, one of his ops pulls up. Apparently, he was salty because he was hitting his baby mom. Hitting meaning like, you know, hitting her like smashing. And he wasn't feeling that. He had just got out of jail, and he was like, just started bucking at the whole party. Everybody took off.
Oh
Luckily, his aim
shit.
was trash, or I don't know, but nobody was hit. Right? That was the first instance. I never went back to that block ever again. I was like, I'm never going back over there, and I never did. But
Damn.
it was that, then seeing what happened to PNB that I was like, yeah, bro, it's crazy out here. I can't be out here. And it's crazy because recently I had to flash my shit at somebody because they was acting rowdy. I was um I was with Joselito the puppet at Starlets. I don't know if you're familiar with Starlets.
Yeah, I am. I know that name.
Ah, you've been there. You've been there.
Nah, I've never
Okay,
been there.
cuz.
I just Nah, I've never been there. Just stories.
Oh snap! We might have to take your ass over there one day. She's like, nah, stop. You gonna get me in trouble. Nah,
Yeah,
nah,
for real. You gonna get me in trouble.
shit, I'm already in trouble. Fuck it. No, I was just playing. But
My
so
middle name
so
is Stays Trouble.
yo, facts. You listen. Don't even get me started. So we're at Starlets, and it was because Joselito was performing there, and he wanted me to kind of like film for him and just kind of do some content with him over there. And I think I was opening up for him, but I didn't make it on time to actually perform. Okay, the traffic was crazy from here to there, from and because I'm in Massachusetts, and uh, and I finally get there, and when I get there, this dude is throwing stacks everywhere, like it looked like some movie shit. Like,
Mm.
like when you go to the movies and you see that they got stacks on stacks and they're just making it rain everywhere. That's what this psycho was doing, bro. And I was just like, I couldn't believe what I was watching. There was the amount of just cheeks everywhere. It's like it was
You
insane.
was getting a standing ovation.
Listen,
You
it
walked
was
in.
all over. The standing ovation was everywhere. It was everywhere. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get in trouble just like being in this area. I need to like figure some shit out. We
And get
get
in
over
trouble
there.
talking about this.
We get over there. No, but check it out. So we get over there. Homeboy brought his own little crew. He has his entourage, which include
Yeah.
guys and girls. I was part of the entourage, but I showed up late. When I get there, one of the girls in his entourage was trying to leave. It was getting late. She was like, "I'm ready to go. I got an Uber." And she was heading out, right? Soon as she
Hmm.
starts walking towards the exit, some big black dude comes out the cut. He's like, "Come over here, baby. Come chill with us." Da, da, da. And he wasn't with us. He was with another crew or something. I don't even know who he was with, but he was like trying to pull her against her
Mm.
will, like to go chill with him. And she looked at me like, "Yo," and I didn't really know her like that. Like she knows Joselito more than she knew me. But when I look back at Joselito, he was drowning in cheeks. So I was like, "Damn." So I was like, I went over. I was like, "Hey, bro, she's not interested. Like I wouldn't normally step in if
Hmm.
if she was cool with it. I was just whatever. That's their business." But she
Right,
was
right,
like
right.
looking at me like, "Help me," like type shit. So
Yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel right if I just kind of just stood there. So I went. I was like, "Hey, yo, big dog, like she ain't feeling it, bro. Like, if I were you, I just let it slide. Go find another shorty or something." And
Mm.
it was just like he looked at me because he's like 6'9", bro. He's like looking down at me like, bro, and what are you gonna do? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Mm.
just like, bro, we just came to have a good time, bro. Like, we're not trying to have no problems. Like, come on, son. Like, let's not do that, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, whatever. And I thought him saying whatever was like, whatever, fuck it. I'm gonna go do something else. But his whatever was like, fuck you, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I
Mm.
didn't realize it at that moment until we walk outside. And when we're actually outside, he comes up from behind us because I was walking her to the Uber. She's like, "You just walk with me." I was like, "Fine." So I'm walking with
Mm.
her, and then he comes up from behind, comes outside. He comes outside. "Hey, yo, baby, where you going?" Da, 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 da. Right. So she hops
Mm.
in the Uber, closes the door. I turn around to homeboy because he's trying to grab the door, and I just lift up my shirt and I'm like, "Bro, I told you to chill out, right?" And he was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad." I'm like, "Bro, it didn't have to be all of that. Like, I didn't even want to have to do that. Like, if you would have just listened to me the first time, like, I wouldn't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
because I
Flash
don't
it.
like doing that." And I had to tell Pops that story because Pops doesn't like that I'm carrying. He's like, "Bro, live by the sword, die by the sword." That's his mentality, and I get it. He's super religious, he's spiritual, and all that. So we've
Hmm.
had that conversation, but it's
Yeah,
like,
my
bro,
parents don't like it either.
I mean, but at the end of the day, like sometimes that's the only way people communicate. Sometimes people only communicate by force. And in order for you to stand your ground, you ain't gonna throw the book at them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stand your ground. You gotta fight for what you believe is yours.
Start
And
saying some
that's just the way of
verses,
the world sometimes. So,
Bible
luckily
verses.
that happened and things went smoothly for the rest of the night. Homeboy didn't bother nobody. He went back to his little corner and he was chilling and everything was good. But,
That's crazy,
sometimes
man.
people that's the language that they speak. Some people don't speak no other language. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, unfortunately, it's that street talk. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it's the only thing that they know, or the only thing that they understand, right? So,
Mhm. Mhm.
is that like the only sticky situation that you've kind of found yourself in, or it kind of
I don't
happens?
know. I don't
It
know.
happens a lot more. It sucks, man, because I know that the music industry is like that. Just from other people that I know that have done music. I was
Well,
fortunate. My bad. I was just gonna say I was fortunate when
eh,
I was never in the music scene, right? I've done music performances. I don't know if you remember. I used to rap a little bit, used to write this and that. You remember, yeah, when I was
of
playing
course,
guitar too. Yeah, so like when I was involved in that stuff, I remember the one promoter that we had, he told us the same thing that he couldn't even, and for this reason, he couldn't even promote like hip hop and rap shows anymore. Like he had to completely take those cards off, and he would just ask rappers to fill in for like different oh hey, I have this show coming up. Can you perform on it? But to have that many rappers or that many hip hop artists, it was always some type of violence, which was sad. You know what I mean? So he really like, and he even mentioned it. He was like, yeah, like I can't even promote those kinds of shows anymore because they just turn bad, and then the club owners don't like it, and yada yada yada. But I'm sorry, go ahead. What
yep.
were you
It
saying?
comes with a lot. It comes with a lot of BS when you talk about certain types of shows in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the majority of the times that I ended up in some scuffles like that, it wasn't even all the time music related. Like, yeah, there was another one where I got jumped because I was, bro, it wasn't even my fault. This is the crazy. Sometimes I got involved into some stuff I got dragged into by other people that had nothing to do with me. I
Yeah.
remember going to a show for another artist, an artist that would come to my studio to record. He's like, "Yo, come to my show. You know, it'd be dope if I could have you come through, and I'll just tell people, you know, you produced it or you recorded me at the studio, whatever." So I'll be like, "All right, cool, just to show support. Show up, right? I'll be
Mm-hmm.
there. I'll run into some friends. I'll go chill with the friends, and then like one of my boys will have a girlfriend that he's like just started talking to, who's like super rambunctious, like for no reason, like loud mouth, talking shit. Don't look over here, da, 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 da," like mad spicy for no reason, right?
Mm.
Then she like pissed off like three Morenos. They're like, "So what's up? Were you talking all that shit inside? Talk that shit now." She's like, "My man will fuck both of y'all up." Da, 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 da. Like talking
Mm.
mad shit, bro. Meanwhile, she's with this dude who's my friend. He's
Mm-hmm.
like 6 foot tall, but it's just me and him. You know what I'm saying? And there's like four of them. So like
Yeah.
they they see me next to him. They're like, "We're jumping all y'all." So we all got jumped. You know what I'm saying? And
Ah,
it was just
shit,
like
man.
it was crazy. So shit that I had nothing to do with. I was just there just
Yeah.
to show support for somebody else. And it was like, bro, I had to stop kicking
Yeah.
it with him. You know what I'm saying? Like just because I'm not
Yo,
trying
it's
to be involved in all of
crazy.
that.
It's crazy when people don't know how to act, though, man. Even like females, you know what I'm saying?
It's wild shit. Wow shit. Luckily at
Like,
that
yo,
time
be
I
on
didn't
your
have
best behavior, man. The fuck?
luckily at that time I didn't have my piece because somebody would have caught something. Because it was
Yeah.
bad. That day was bad. Like we were lucky that the cops showed up when they did. They were just passing through. It was like 10 minutes into the whole scuffle. We was holding our own at first, but
I was
then
gonna
they
say, I hope
started.
you got some shots in.
We did, but then they flanked us. They ended up flanking us. Like I got overtaken by two dudes from behind. Pause.
Yeah.
And then there was like, you know what I'm saying, some other shit going on that like, it is what it is. It is
Yeah,
what
you
it
gotta be
is.
careful that they don't get you on the ground and start kicking your head in, man, because that's when.
Well, that's what that it got to the point where they got me on the ground, and just before they got to the point where it was getting stomped, and I would have got stomped out. The cops showed up like literally at that
Thank God,
last
man.
moment.
For real.
So
You gotta be
but
careful.
this was years ago. You know what I'm saying? Then I got jumped for my basketball one time in New York over there in Sackman, where
I think I
they
remember
used
that.
to. That was crazy. My dad bought me one of those N1 basketballs. They were like the new. It had the new technology foam. It was like the dopest shit on the market. It was
Yeah, I
N1 was
remember
hot,
that.
and I was on it practicing. And I was playing on the block over there, and the projects kids came through. We started playing some games. Then they were like, "Yo, let's see the ball. Can we see the ball?" And I let them see it. I ended up
The
getting into
block
a
is
game.
hot. The block is
Yo,
hot.
they took they took my ball. It was like five of them. There was like four Morenos and one Puerto Rican. They took my ball and they took off to the projects. I followed them all the way back to their block.
Oh
I
shit.
just me by myself. I followed them. I was like the whole way, give me my ball back, give me my ball back, give me my ball back. At one point, the guy got mad. He was like, "You want your ball back?" He was like, he spread out. Everybody got into a circle, a big circle. He put the ball in the middle. He was like, "Come and get it."
Oh
I was
shit.
like, bro, I'm not. I was like, bro, I'm not stupid, bro. You're gonna jump me. Just give me my ball, bro. You got like three other basketballs. Can let me get my ball, bro.
Yeah,
He was like,
yeah.
come and get it. So I walked up kind of close. I didn't get to the middle because I knew I wouldn't have made it out of that circle. So
Right.
I kind of got up close. And when I got close, ironically, the first one to swing at me was the Puerto Rican. The Puerto Rican kid was the first one to try to swing at me. I ducked, he missed. I pushed him. Then the rest of the kids started chasing me. I started running down the block. They were running behind me, right? So this
Yeah,
me, I'm
yeah.
this hand. These are the other kids. They're running like this behind me. They gain it. I'm slowing down. I was taking off. I was too fast. But I started slowing down because I was gonna try to figure out a way to get my ball.
Yeah.
So I'm running, they gain it, I'm letting them gain on me, and then I turn around and I go like this, like when I wide like that, like I was gonna
Yeah.
start swinging. And while they were running, they didn't see that coming. They were like, oh, oh, and they all kind of like stumbled on each other and shit.
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
ball was way like too far back. I was like, bro, if I
Damn.
try to go get that, I'm gonna have to run around the other side of the block. I'll probably run out of air and get jumped. I was like, fuck it, bro. I'm gonna have to take this L. So I took the
Yeah.
L.
Damn,
But
son. Yo,
I had some
that's
stories.
crazy. Yo, I got a story. I wonder if you remember this. This story involves you. Alright, you had come to visit us in Jersey at my parents' house, right? And this is when you were, I'm pretty sure you were Cupid. And you had this song. Damn, yo, I wish I remember. It was my favorite fucking song, and you took it down from YouTube. I was so mad at you, bro. I was so mad at you, yo, because I used to bump that shit. I used to bump that shit all the time. But like, and I remember I asked you too. This is not part of the story, but I remember I asked you. I was like, "Yo, why you take it down?" You were like, "Oh yeah, that's just not me no more." Like some shit. Like you were like different. I'm like, "Yo, fuck that, man." Like, Leo, let me get that MP4, yo. Like, but or the
Now
MP3
you got me
rather.
curious. I wonder what song that
Oh
was.
fuck,
It
man, I
had to
can't
be one
remember.
of two songs. Was it like was it like a slower jam or like a faster one? Like was it up tempo or slower?
Now it was up tempo. It
It was
was
up
up
tempo. So I
tempo.
think I know which one.
It
Why'd
was up
I
tempo.
let you into
Yes,
my heart? Na,
that
na,
was it.
na,
Yeah,
na, na, na.
that
Yeah, I
was it.
remember that shit. You know what's
Yeah.
crazy? One of my boys from New York stay reminded me about that song. He's like, "Yo, you remember when you did that one song?" He's
Yo,
like,
you
"That
still
was
got
the
it?
shit." Man.
Yo, you still
I was
got that
like,
song? You still got it, right?
I don't have it, but I know it's somewhere. It's somewhere. Somebody got it
You gotta
somewhere.
send it to me, man. I love that shit. Why'd I let you? Yeah, I love
You
that
know
song.
what? My boy has it like in his Xbox or some shit like that. Like he has
I need
saved
it.
it in his.
I need it, bro. I need
I'm
that
gonna get
song.
on. I'm gonna hit him up. I'm gonna see where where he got his stash at because I know he be talking about that shit, bro.
Yo, so
That's
check this.
funny.
So you came to our house, right? And this is when you had that song out, right? And I remember I was telling, mind you, all right, a little background story. I always knew I was gay, right? But I wasn't out
Mm.
until after high school because it was very taboo to be gay when we were young. You know what I'm saying? But I
The
remember I
family
used
was
to.
super on that shit.
What's that?
The family was super like
Yeah,
strict about that shit. Yeah.
yeah. And so I mean, funny enough, I that was one of the reasons I didn't come out either. But funny enough, when I came out, my family was super supportive. Like they didn't. I thought that they were
Wow.
gonna like blacklist me and everything like that, but nah, like they were super supportive. But nonetheless, I remember that I had a crush on this girl, right? I had a
Ah!
crush. I had a crush on this girl, and I was actually friends with her. And I used to like, yo, tell me why I used to brag like this was a good thing. Like it's not my brag, but I'd be like, yeah, I got a cousin that could sing. He got music, blah blah blah, this and that. Like he's an
What?
artist. Yo, I used to be telling all the girls like, yo, I got a cousin, he got a mad good voice, blah blah blah. Like that was like, why
Oh
did I
wow!
brag about
I
that?
wish I would have known this, bro. Like I've never.
Yo,
This
why
is
did I
something
brag
that
about
is
that?
brand new to me, bro. What?
But yo, so check this out. So I remember you came over the house and I had told the girls, I'm like, yeah, my cousin that could sing, he's gonna be coming over, blah blah blah, this and that, whatever, right? I'm like, yo, when he's here, I'm gonna call you guys so he could sing to you. You remember I called my friends and you sang to them on the phone?
I think so. I think so.
yo,
I think
yo,
so.
can I tell you that
It must have been one of those holidays. It was one of them holidays because I know we
something?
used
It
to
was
get
mad
together.
random you guys showed up.
It was a summertime. It wasn't
And
it
it was the
wasn't winter.
summertime. Yeah, it was
I
summer. It was
remember that.
summer.
I remember
Yeah.
that. But we was at the Amada's house, or like the Abioleta Abuelita Coralia's house. But I think the Amada was living with her. And we were there just kind of spending time. It was somebody's birthday or something.
No, but this was at
It
my
could have been.
parents' house. Y'all came to Jersey. I think it was the only time you came to Jersey.
Oh,
Yeah, because you were a
oh,
little older. You were a
I
little
do
older.
remember going over there with pops. This was just
Yeah.
before he bought the house type shit.
It was
This
because I
was
was in middle school. I had to be like 12 years old, maybe. So you were what,
yeah,
like 17?
yeah,
You know, you were like my cool cousin
yeah.
that could sing, you know?
Yeah, see, exactly. So around that time, like, yeah, he had either just bought the house or it was just before he bought the house. It was one or the other.
Yeah,
I
man. So,
recall this. I remember this vaguely. So what, did they say anything? Did they say anything to you about it?
well, so remember, I had a crush on this girl, right?
Yeah.
So I never pursued it or nothing because, like I said, at that age and up until the end of high school, just taboo. I didn't want to be gay, right? But get this, when we were 21, her and I, we had like with a group of other people, we had gone out to celebrate Thanksgiving Eve, right? And we went to this club, right? Tell me why, like out of nowhere, right? She turns to me. She was like, "Oh, like, did you know that, like I like girls?" And I was like we were all drunk, you know what I'm saying? I was like, "Yeah, kind
Oh
of like a
shit.
little bit." Right? And she was like, "Ah, nah, like more than a little bit." And she grabs me and she starts making out with me. I was like, "Yo, that's my cousin right there for singing to her fucking like 10 years
Yeah.
before, yo." I was like, yo, shout out to my cousin, yo. He helped me lock
You
that shit
planted
in
that
10 years
seed,
later,
bro.
yo.
That's sick. Wow.
That shit
So
was crazy
so
though.
when you had her as a friend, did you ever get that hint from her that she might like girls? Like, did you ever get like an
Nah,
intuition?
I didn't. But I also tried to ignore my own, you know what I mean? So I wasn't trying to pick up anybody else's. I was so, when I was young, I was so focused on myself that I thought like the world thought that I was fucking weird. You know what I mean? So I was so in my head thinking like what other people were thinking about me. I wasn't thinking about them.
Hmm.
You know what
Wow.
I'm saying?
I think as a kid I had that a similar mentality where, I was very self-aware about how people perceived me,
Mm.
and how people saw me. Um and I think that's why a big part of that is the reason why I always strive to be the best at whatever I do, whether it was playing basketball, whether it was playing chess, whether it was singing music. I always wanted to excel because I felt like I was always the odd man out, you know.
See,
Um,
you used it as fuel. I wish that I would have. For me, I let it eat me alive. You know what I'm saying? And like for a long
yeah,
time, I just had such low self esteem and like hated myself. And I'm like, why did I have to be born gay? And, like all these things, Like, why do
yeah,
I have to
yeah,
have this huge secret? And it like everything just weighed on me instead of like
yeah.
using it as fuel the way you did to prove people wrong, to get what you want,
Yo,
to get where you want to be,
See,
you know?
I think that and I don't know how to take that because people say, you know, to be an artist, to be exceptional in whatever you do in certain things, you have to have a s- a bit of narcissism to you. There's got to be a little bit of narcissism in you to have that headstrong will to push through that regardless.
Mm,
But I don't know if I fully agree with that, only because when I've learned about narcissism, what I've learned is that narcissists specifically, they need someone to kind of draw from at all times, you know?
mm, mhm.
And I was never that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I realized that I tried to get people involved and stuff like that, but I was always let down. I was always disappointed. People would either take the money and run, or people would take my ideas and start their own shit. using my formula. There was, there was always something that caused a crazy setback that forced me to say, all right, I can't trust nobody. I can't rely on nobody. I'm gonna have to just figure this out myself, and I'm gonna just push and do it as best as I can on my own. And like literally from 2020, even sooner than that, like 2017, up until 7 months ago, it was just me. Like it was with the music shit, like making the beats, writing the songs, pushing them out there, booking my own gigs, connecting and networking on my own. I didn't have a manager to step up for me and do all of the necessary legwork to politic. I was the one doing the politicking.
Mm,
It got to that point because I realized that nobody's gonna care about my success more than me. And
100%.
I just I only got to that point because when I did rely on people again, I was constantly let down. So I realized at a young age that people ain't shit, you
Mm,
know? You could look up to your idol, and when you realize who that person truly is behind closed doors, you realize that person ain't shit. It changes your perspective on life itself. It changes that whole mentality of, oh my God, I just want to be accepted, to fuck all you guys. I accept me. I don't need you to accept me. It's different. It's a little bit different.
yeah,
And
it is.
that's what caused me to be that way. But it took a lot of real life experience to teach me that the hard way. That's not something that you learn from someone telling you. Because my dad always used to tell me, don't trust people. Don't be a follower, be a leader. Don't let people tell you what you should or could do, or fill your head with their opinions. Yeah, it's important to
Right.
get people's perspective on certain things, but don't have that alter your goal or your drive or whatever it is you set out to do. Don't let that be your moral compass. Don't let that drive you to wherever you're going. Use that as something to keep in the back of your mind, but don't put that in the forefront. You put that in the
Mm,
forefront, and then you end up in that kind of situation. But when
right.
I realized that people ain't shit, that's when it changed everything for me, because now I'm plugged in with people that I never thought I'd be plugged in with. I got the respect of certain individuals that, you know, um, even though my bank account don't reflect it, like, it's there. Like this guy that just called me, like he's calling me to tell me, "Damn, bro, I'm going through something and I need your help." And I'm like, I'm here dealing with you. I'm like, "Bro, you going to have to wait." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Let's not
and
keep
these
him
are
waiting
people
too
that,
long, man. Yeah.
nah, that's all right, bro. Listen, like I said, when my car was going through a situation and I called people, people didn't even answer the phone. Never mind pick up and be like, "Yo, I'm gonna call you back." I was
Mm,
like, "Bro, you gotta. This is on you, brother. You figure it out." And that's
yeah, man.
exactly what I did. You know what I mean? That's just life.
Nah,
Not
man, I
everybody's
feel you.
always gonna be there to pick you up when you need to be picked up. Sometimes you're gonna have to get your ass up on yourself, use your own strength. And that's what builds that. That's what builds that drive, that
It's
ambition, that
resiliency.
character. Yeah,
That's
100%.
resiliency, man.
These
It's
are
a strong.
stories I shouldn't be telling, though. I'm telling you, like, this is beyond music, way beyond music.
I love it though. I want people to get to know you, cause you're a good soul, man. You're a great
I
soul,
appreciate
and you can sing your ass off. So
you too. You too. I love your
in Spanish
personality.
and
I've al-
English.
we've always every time we get together, we get into the ill conversation. We talk. I don't understand how, like, we are not even closer than what we already are, like chilling on a regular. I guess it's just the distance mainly,
That's all
but
it is, man. I mean, I'm telling you, you have a show down in. I don't know if you know, but I'm not even like that close to New York City anymore. My wife and me, we moved down to South Jersey. So if you're ever like got a show down in AC, Atlantic City, son, I'm there. Cause New York is still a little too far. you know.
gotcha. How
So
far is Atlantic City from you?
shit, I'm like maybe 40 minutes.
Oh, okay. So if you're at 40 minutes from Atlantic City, then New York is like an hour and a half type shit, 2 hours.
Yeah, it's close to yeah, almost 2 hours for sure.
Damn,
Yeah,
damn,
so
that's
I'm out.
deep. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
out
have
this
an
way now.
opportunity on Sunday to make my way out to New York. I got invited to you know that song by Chris Brown? Sexy motherfucker, you the baddest one. Give
Hmm.
you all my love and it ain't adding up. Right? You know that song?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
should just get up and then have some fun. I'm trying to fall in love. Whatever he does, right?
yeah,
That
yeah.
song, the producer to that beat is gonna be in New York linking up with the dude that called me. And he was
Mm,
telling me, like, yo, this Sunday we want you in the studio. I want to introduce you to one of the songwriters that writes for Chris Brown. And I'm like, my nigga. I'm like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that, but I'm like, yo, bro, like, I'm like, I want to come through, but I'm booked on that day. He's like, you better figure it out, son. I'm like, oh, don't do that to me, son. Like, we talking
damn,
life changing type of people, bro, that we're connected with platinum Grammy songwriters. And it's like, now now I have to figure out a way to get out of a show that's contracted, booked, expecting me to be there. Crowd is going to be lit, everything. So I could link up with
damn.
a,
There's no way
that's
you
the,
can make it work.
that's
The times like they
So
don't
I was
match.
it's just horrible because he's gonna the songwriter is gonna be there Saturday and Sunday, but all day type shit, right?
Mm.
My performance is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but I'm done on Sunday at 5. But I'm up in Maine.
Oh
I'm up
shit.
in Maine. And I looked how far Maine is from New York, and that's another 5 hours driving alone, never mind parking or traffic, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, bro, I'm never gonna make it on time on Sunday. Like even if like there's no way I could do the show and go to the shit. I'd have to like somehow get out of the show, but I can't get out of the show. There's no way I can get out of the show. The show is my money maker. Like that's how I'm paying
Damn,
rent.
yo.
That's how I'm taking care of the fam. So it's like I can't sacrifice that. So I told him that I'm like, yeah, I feel bad, but we gonna have to rain check, bro. Like, and dude was like,
Damn,
you don't
son.
understand
There'll
what
be
you're
another
missing, bro.
opportunity though. You're gonna be blessed with more and
That's
more.
the
I
thing.
know.
Cause I've been saying that same exact sentence for the last 15 years. You understand what I'm saying? Every time an opportunity has come about, I've said that same exact sentence, right?
More do present
And
themselves
then
too.
the opportunities they do present themselves, but they're too far few in between for me to be acting like, oh, it'll just come around like it's nothing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
No, I feel you. I feel you. That's cool.
it's there's gonna be a point in time where a sacrifice is going to have to be made. It's a
Maybe it'll be this
requirement.
Sunday then. You know what I'm saying? Maybe sacrifice might have to be
Listen,
early, you know?
yo, but that's what I'm getting at is that like
Yo,
it's
next
that leap of
15,
faith.
every 15, next one coming. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I wish it was like that. I wish it was every 15 days, 15 minutes, or 15 whatever. But it's
yeah,
like
man.
it's crazy. It's crazy. I gotta figure something out. That's something that's breaking my brain right now, and I gotta figure out from here. I got from here till Saturday to figure it out. See how finesse this. Because the producer that's gonna be there is Romano. Have you ever heard of him, Romano? Like in the
I'm not
beginning, the
familiar.
tag goes Mono in the very beginning.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, like that's who's gonna be there. So it's like,
Oh, shit,
damn,
man.
it's like fuck, bro.
Yo, I mean, I'm so happy to see how far you've gotten with music, and I'm so happy to know that you haven't quit. You know, for a little bit, I thought that you might have not given up, but kind of like stepped back. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that you were doing the stuff like you said, working in the office. So I saw you kind of pushing that stuff, and I was like, all right, maybe music's on the back burner a little bit. But within the past year, bro, you've been on this shit heavy. I mean, I see you, posting about your performances, where you're going to be at. You've sent me a couple shows that, when you're going to be in New York. I like the music videos, even, right? Everything. I'm so proud of you. I really am, and I love to see it. I've always been a fan. Shit, I used to brag about you. I still do. I still do, man. I'm always going to brag about you. I'm proud of you.
I
That's
appreciate
just,
that.
you're
I
my
love that.
blood, man. So I love this for you. Um, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know you got shit to do. So before I let you go, if anyone could take something away from this session that we just had together, right? Doesn't even have to be something we already spoke about, just anything. What would you want the listeners to take away?
The main thing I think people should take away before we leave is, like I said just 5 seconds ago, opportunities come too far few in between. So what you choose to do today will determine what will happen to you tomorrow. And sometimes a sacrifice and that leap of faith is necessary to see that growth. And when you make that sacrifice, you may not be comfortable off the jump. As a matter of fact, you might have ruined something for yourself in that very instant moment. But you might have planted the seed to grow something substantially greater that will take a little bit of time. And you just got to go through that rough patch before you get to that moment where that seed has blossomed into the tree that you would had hoped that it would be. That's the best thing I could say about that. Don't let those opportunities slip. When you see a crazy life changing type of opportunity where you were in the same room like I should be on Sunday, I hope you do something better than what I think I'm gonna do and take that chance, take that leap of faith. Because me right now, I should be taking my own advice, but I'm still up in the air with it, and I got to figure it out because I got kids, I got you know what I'm saying? And I know it may sound like excuses or whatever, but again, like we'll see, we'll see. I'm gonna keep you posted on Sunday. I'll let you know what happens on Sunday.
Let me know,
How's
man.
that?
While people are playing checkers, you're playing chess, you know?
Yeah, exactly,
So,
exactly.
yo, where can people find you? Let's go ahead, plug in your social media. Let's talk about some shows you got coming up.
All right, yeah. So August 17th, I'll be at Top of the Bay, Warwick, Oakland Beach, Rhode Island. It's gonna be lit. It's a beautiful little spot with awesome food and a wonderful view of the ocean. It's great. Um, I'll be singing from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., but I'll be taking some breaks. So it's a small, intimate little show. You get to come, chill out, get some good drinks, food, music. Um, and that's August 17th. Um, and you'll be able to find all the information on my website, elionv.com. You can also check me out on Instagram. That's Elion underscore virtuoso. That's ELION underscore VIRTUOSO. Um, and yeah, TikTok. Check me out on all digital platforms. I got this. I got a song. My last release was with Fred the Godson. Rest in peace. Out of Harlem, New York, called "Chop It Up." And I got some more music coming. You know, I got
You
a
got
lot of
stuff
things
on
behind the
Spotify?
scenes.
My
Yeah,
bad.
everything is on digital platforms. So
Beautiful.
Spotify, um, Apple Music, Title, all of it. Um, and then if you want to hear stuff that is not up there and you want to hear some unreleased stuff, just check me out on IG or TikTok. Sometimes I'll post a few little snippets there, some secrets up there.
That's what's up, man.
And
Thank you
oh,
so much.
and I
Yes,
got my own little podcast starting soon that I just
you
started
do.
shooting with Izzo and Joselito the Puppet. It's called the Live Cook Up, where we're like, making music and answering creative questions, like how you come up with certain melodic ideas or what you think about when you're selecting beats, stuff like that. During the creative process. So check that out on YouTube at
That's dope.
youtube.com, Leon Virtuoso.
Yo, you know what's so crazy? Back in the day, like I'm talking 2016, 2017, I used to follow Joselito the Puppet like crazy. How did you get
Oh,
hooked
word?
up with this? Yo, I fucking loved Joselito. He was
That's
fucking
crazy.
hilarious.
It's crazy that you asked me that. Someone asked me the same thing, and he's one of those guys that you meet so organically that I can't even remember the exact moment we crossed paths. All I remember was we somehow ended up on a music video set together. We clicked up, we linked up, we talked business, we met at a show, and then I had him participate in one of my music videos. And then from there we just became friends.
That's dope.
Um so like ever since then, he's been like having me come out to his shows, opening up for him. He took me on tour with him when he was going up and down the East Coast earlier this year. But
He's
then
gotta
I
come
had my
down
own
to
shows.
AC, yo. Tell him AC. Shout out to
Oh, listen,
Joselito. Come to AC, bro.
he's all over the place. I'm sure he'll make his rounds down that way because he's right now he's expanding to the West Coast now. Like he's done Vegas, he's done San
Oh
Diego,
shit.
now he's going to
For him,
Atlanta.
man.
So he used to be kind of like stuck in the region, but now he's like taking it abroad. So I won't be surprised if he shows up to Atlantic City at some point.
That's what's up, man. I remember watching him on Facebook, like
And
when
if he
videos weren't
does,
even.
I'm gonna do my best to get in there and open up, and I'm letting you know I'm there, so that way we could
Yes,
rendezvous.
absolutely, yo. Because I haven't seen you in years, so it'd be nice. It'd
Yeah,
be nice
bro.
to get a hug from you, cuz.
Facts, facts. Air hug, air hug.
Air hug it out. I love you, man. Thank you so much for being a guest on my show. Uh,
Yeah, thank you
Thank
for
you
having me.
for just doing what you do, man. I love seeing you succeed. I love seeing you be a father. You're just a great person. So I wish nothing but the best for you. And yeah, thank you everyone for listening in. Is there anything that you want to close out with, or you're set?
I was gonna say, make sure that you tune into that stories I shouldn't tell featuring
That's
Michi.
right.
All right, don't be a weirdo.
Don't be a weirdo. Thanks
That's gonna be
everyone
like
for
my new little
listening.
slogan. I be trying to use that as my slogan. I don't know. I'm gonna see
I
if
like
it
it. Don't be
works.
a weirdo, man. Fucking listen. Tune in. Tune in to stories I shouldn't tell. Don't be a weirdo. Thanks everyone for
Facts.
listening. Peace.